golly, and good day once again to ye mateys! I be your absurdly mustachioed and charmingly whimsical DM Josh the Pirate, and it brings me more of a thrill than getting paid to do things and people that I love to welcome you back to Corsair's Cove and the next campaign in my Humblewood world of elements and evil. With me I have my hearty crew, the mercurial Daria, surname redacted, the capricious Karen Schlink, the volatile Brendan Ellis, and the impulsive Mr. John Best. And I do need to say, before we even do anything else, Abis, thanks for the biddies. Fajuk, thanks for the gifted subs, you bloody champion. That's extremely kind of you. And Ardana, thanks for that resub, buddy, you bloody champions. And Gryban, thanks very much for that follow, you excellent individual. Thanks for joining us, guys. Wait, what do you mean art painting and house painting? No, art painting, Abis. I was actually painting this thing. This is for my lovely friend Zalia. It is a Kylin. It is her spirit animal. She didn't know what it was. She said, I think my spirit animal is somewhere between a dragon and a unicorn. And I was like, oh, Kylin. And she was like, what's that then? So I had to tell her. But now she knows, and now I've 3D printed her a mini of one. So guys, who the absolute heck are you? Daria, who the heck are you?
Oh, what a great question. I am Daria. I am an artist. Recently finished the latest portrait for the group for Bron. That was great. And yeah, you can find me here playing Julio, and you can ask me to do art, specifically a furry variety if you want to, but you can do something else if you desire.
Smooth.
I don't judge.
Furry and smooth.
Yeah. Thank you.
Laurite, this is just a one-off because it was the day the four of us could do, and we wanted to stream today because, we wanted to stream this week, and this was the only day that we could all make, because it is, of course, as many people know, there is the ongoing strike in support of Gaza. And we wanted to stream to sort of throw shit in the face of that because we wanted to stream to talk about it. So part of this stream will be devoted to talking specifically about that situation, but we will get there. John, who the heck are you?
My name's John. I've been a performer for a long time, now into IT, and I like finding and breaking rules. So, performer plus breaking rules equals D&D, really.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here.
IT doesn't hurt either.
No.
That makes sense. You'll also notice I have updated John's chat command so it actually reflects a little bit more about him. Karen, who the heck are you?
Hello, I am Karen, sometimes known as the Mother of Bunnies, mainly because I tell people about that. I am a writer, a performer, a completely, cripplingly internet addict. Cripplingly addicted to the internet would be the grammatically correct way to say it, and I'm a writer, so I care about these things. You can follow me on the social media site formerly known as Twitter, at Mother O'Bunnies, or you can follow my burlesque alter ego over on Instagram, at Miss Lola Moore, or listen to my dulcet tones in the podcast, There Be Dragons, or you can just come hang out on this channel, where we will presumably be back at some point this week playing more Baldur's Gate. And me and Josh may have got drunk and played a lot of Baldur's Gate this weekend, so I'm almost at the end of Act 2. Oh my god! Progressing the narrative, look at me!
You might even get there. She's dangerously close to catching up with me. Because I haven't played since Christmas.
Yeah, you stopped, and I've just been like...
chipping away at it. Good grammaring, yeah.
Anyway. Good grammaring, yes. I love grammar.
It's a hype train, a level 1 hype train, guys. Thank you so much for everyone who added to that. For Duke as well, I am remiss. Thank you very much for this gifted sub to me. It's very kind of you. Josh the Pirate is extremely grateful. Brendan, who the heck are you?
I am Brendan Ellis. I'm an actor and director. I like big butts and I cannot lie. And I'm here normally on Thursdays, and this week we're here on a Sunday. So deal with that, biatches.
Damn.
Take that, world.
Yeah.
Wow, really burned them. Yikes.
Did not know what hit them or why. We are.
Mostly why.
Why?
And I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove, where I run D&D and other RPG-related games with my lovely wife, Karen, the mother of bunnies, and all my splendid friends. And not always that as well, because tomorrow evening, the marvelous Tony Karlstrom will be coming to run another Mutant Chronicles adventure for us. And Karen and I will be playing in that, and we will be joined by the wonderful Ardana, the Lawwright herself, as well as Zach and Jess from... the Candlekeep Christmas campaign and other things. Zach obviously played with Daria and John in the little two-shot we did as well. They're splendid players that I met over on the Dreaded GM channel, and I have stolen them. And they seem fine with it, and Dread hasn't said anything, so I think I've gotten away with it. Other than that... we need to remind our eccentric, unconventional, and possibly even fanciful audience to please like, follow, and subscribe to all the things, you bloody champions. We have all the exclamation mark socials. We have the Discord. And we have the Tube of You, if you want to come and check us out there, the YouTube. We have all the episodes you may have missed, all 140-odd episodes of Humblewood previous to this, are all up there. And today we are going to be talking about the wonderful people of Gaza, who are going through, as you may or may not be aware, and I hope you are, a bit of shit. So, Karen, could you give us a little rundown on the links that I'm popping up in the chat right meow?
Okay, so the first link is for the Save the Children Gaza Emergency Appeal, which hopefully its goals are quite obvious. It is trying to get much needed medical aid and food to children in Gaza, which we'll discuss just how high the percentage of the population in Gaza is very young. So there's a lot of children who urgently need support. So if you are able to donate, that is the first link. The second link is for the Oxfam Gaza Crisis Petition. This is for the petition to the Australian government, basically calling for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, and to increase Australia's humanitarian aid that we've been offering to the area. It's already had a lot of signatures, but they are pushing for even more because it just keeps getting worse. So if you don't have any money to donate, please consider signing the petition or sharing the donate link through your own networks. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you kindly. Yeah, I think at a few points throughout this evening's stream, we are going to just discuss the Gaza Strip, and I'm not going to tell you what to think. That's not my role here, but I have a platform, I have a microphone, and I can just spread a little bit of information. I have done my due diligence on this one. You can follow, I have I've got where I found this information, so I've quoted my sources. And so, yeah, it's not so much like my intention is to provide people with information they may not possess, so that they can draw their own conclusions. And towards that end, check this shit out. Did you know that the population of Gaza City is estimated at 800,636? That is best guess, obviously, and it's probably a little fewer now. Over 75% are under 25 years old, and they all live in an area just under 17 square miles, which is insanely small. Or 45 square kilometers, which means 47,000 people per square mile. I did the math on this, and that means each person occupies a space about 54 square meters, or about 7.5 meters to a side. This makes it the 40th most densely populated area in the world, which is also pretty impressive. So whenever a bomb drops there, the likelihood of copping a few people is extremely high, and more bombs were dropped on it than in the last year than were dropped on Afghanistan in the entire war. So that is just a little bit of information about Gaza. There you go. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. So let us get into the game, and we will give you another little bit of tasty information about the Gaza Strip a little bit later on. Brendan, can you tell me what the heck happened last time?
I can absolutely try. Our mates and a mate of Julio, Bron, all gathered after a few months apart doing their own things. They were present at the opening of school, which is very cute and sweet, and then suddenly ooze. They dealt with the ooze in the manner that you normally would deal with ooze, with a bit of soap, and from that point, they did a little bit of investigating. They went to a pub to drink because, of course, they did. They talked about a few different potential solutions. Eric scried on a person who had gone missing. Several people had gone missing in the Roots area and had found that she was currently safe-ish. And that, compared with some other investigating that they did, made them determine a spot of particular interest that they should look at, where a bunch of ooze was gathering, which could potentially very soon turn into a death node. If you don't know what that is, it's bad.
Doesn't sound good.
Meanwhile, the DM got us to meet with an NPC and told us, hey, here's the plot. It's very good that you've skipped this step, but please, I have a module that I need to run. And we all... No, it was much better than that.
It's much more
but
subtle
we all
than
agreed,
that.
you know what? It was. And we all said, you know what? Okay, we'll go and speak to some people near the mock fields to get some information about oozes, and then we'll come back and continue the module. And everyone said, hooray! And that was where we left last session. I think we're going to get yeeted there via some kind of teleportation, but
you've got to go there, but you can teleport back.
Yes. We were given a reward that allows us to teleport back to the Alderheart whenever we're away, which our previous employers stinged out on not giving to us, but also she was corrupt. So
yeah. No,
and we have a couple of hours left in the Alderheart to do things that we need to do before we leave.
Oh, excellent. Yes, agreed. Well, mateys, I think it was pretty accurate. So, may your congregations be unmolested by slime, and all your fast travel methods be omnidirectional, as we head, tremulously at first, and then with mounting heat and passion, into the Humblewood. Karen, when you're typing, would you turn off your microphone, my lovely? It's very, very loud.
Sorry.
So, we return to the Alderheart and the Humblewood and our heroes, who actually left the Alderheart yesterday around mid-afternoon, mounted on the fastest beetle mounts the speaker could provide. Before they left, Kesh issued orders ensuring guards seconded to the Perch Guard and the Wildwood Brigade to engage in a joint training exercise in the Roots, evacuating people within the western reaches of the burrows. Julio gave instructions to his followers to do the same, and as many as can be are being brought to the Temple of the Alderheart for protection. Eric and Bron visited the Tender headquarters, where a frazzled-looking Gabriella Duststrike was trying to fathom what to do with the reports of the illness within the tree. And if you wanted to, you two are fully welcome to play that scene out, if you would like.
Certainly, yeah.
Because Eric seemed to think Bron might like meeting Gabrielle.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we do, I just want to draw your attention to the impending timer on our Zoom meeting.
Oh, weird.
Which doesn't normally happen.
Yeah,
No.
when the time goes down, do we just... Is it closing? I don't know.
It's very strange.
Closing time.
40 minutes. Yeah.
God, I'm showing my age. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. That's exactly what happens after the meeting time is done. That song plays, and then we're
Yeah.
copyright stricken and die.
Aww.
Mm.
No.
Executed
Yeah.
for our
I
crimes
am-
against the TOS. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I only like dying in Baldur's Gate because it's usually when I've done something monumentally stupid and I'm then reaping the reward and cackling the whole time. So my
Nice.
party is slowly slaughtered by my poor decision making.
One
That's
can say
weird.
poor decisions, another person can say science, testing a hypothesis.
Turns out if you talk shit to the Yankee goddess, she'll murder you all.
Yeah. Well, now you know.
Or if you pick a fight with a necromancer when you're ill prepared, death for
Yeah.
everybody. What was the other time I killed everybody? Oh, I think in the Groom Forge.
Yeah.
I got everybody killed.
Look, it's happened a couple of times.
I
Because
blew
you
Gale up
rested too
by
much?
accident.
Hey, what's his cool new ability?
Well,
Yeah.
now we know.
What
Bear
did you
with me
do,
a
Bishop
second,
Blood?
guys. Petra.
Did you romance anyone, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dating Lazelle. And
Okay, interesting.
we've progressed the romance to the point where she's decided she doesn't want to just have super aggressive, borderline fighting sex. She actually wants to have tender lovemaking as well. So
Aw.
I think we're really making progress. Not that she's actually followed through, she's just expressed this desire to me.
Baby steps, baby steps.
Yeah.
Baby steps, baby steps. But yeah, she totally picked a fight with me in camp and beat the shit
Aw.
out of me, unsurprisingly, because she's a fighter and I'm a druid. So,
Yeah. I haven't played yet. Well, I played a little bit when the game was in beta. And I haven't touched it since because I know I will get
Lose
sucked in
your life to
and
it. Yeah.
will not be functioning, and I have to be functioning right now. But when I'm done with the high functioning stuff, I will get in there, and I'm already planning who I want to romance. And to me, two that look most interesting are Will and Halcyon, because I'm like, interesting. And the lady, the powerful lady.
Carla.
Karlach.
Yeah.
Yeah. These
Everyone's
three are
favorite
like,
muscle mummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Josh is
Yeah.
dating Karlach.
Nice.
In his run through. And
What I will say is that Holson is very easy to romance.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
In my experience, he will throw himself at you regardless of your relationship status.
I
Yeah.
love that. Listen, I
Yeah.
love that. A lot of my
Hey.
friends are very into Astarion, but I'm like, he's such a little bitch, though. Like, he's gonna be like, I will wear my funny looking socks, and he's like, oh, really, darling? Like, bruh, shut the fuck up. I like my funny socks. Fuck you.
There we go. Figured it out. Stupid Zoom. Basically, I was logged in with the wrong account. Anyway, so Bron and Eric, you head to the Tender Halls so Eric can introduce his new friend to his old friends. Well, Julio's friend. I don't know if you guys will qualify yet. You are, however, a very, very personable dude who likes rocks and blowing up slimes, and Eric can get on board with at least one of those things. So,
I have let him touch my ball, so I
That's
think
true.
we're on the way.
yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's when he lets you play with his tail. That's when you know you're there. So
It doesn't mean
what
that
do you
much
do?
for Eric. It's just a bunch of feathers.
That's true. Yeah.
So just to recap, Gabby at the Tender Halls was one of the people that the group figured they should check in with before they leave.
Yep.
The tenders were asked to do some things, and for lack of someone for Bron to speak to, Eric thought, hey, Bron would probably appreciate speaking to Gabby.
Well, she is an artificer.
Yes, that. Okay, so we're on our way. Oh, hello, Bob from the Tender Halls.
Oh, hi, Eric. Didn't expect
Bob,
to see you back here.
How's Clarice
Oh, she's fine.
and the kids?
Oh, you know.
Yes, still dead. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Why you even brought them up is so hurtful.
Still dead.
Eric.
I
Jesus.
forgot.
You know that's
really
why
must go
I asked
now.
Havel to have you shipped out to.
That is such a destructive but fun energy. What the fuck is happening?
Wow.
Yes, and okay.
Okay, you are now banned from yes anding. Please continue.
No and.
Yeah. Yeah, he knows his way around the tender halls, so he will
Yeah.
lead Bron to Gabby's office. Am I correct in thinking that Gabby is probably the most senior person here at the tender halls at the moment?
Currently, other than you, yeah, Gabby has been left in charge, essentially.
Yeah, cool. Hello, Gabby. It's me, Eric. Hello. Good to see you.
Hi. Oh, thank God you're here. I was worried I was going to have to run this place long term. Jeez. Okay, good. You're back. So, okay, I've got everything sorted. Everything's I
Great.
think, reasonably under control. There is a bit of a concern about, look, it's more than a bit of a concern. Hi, by the way, I'm Gabby.
Hi, this is Bron.
Bron, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Another
I'm
tender?
just going to stop you there.
Uh,
I am here. I'm
Yes.
about to leave again.
don't you do this, man.
And also, we need a favor from you.
Oh, good.
Um,
I wasn't busy. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, this time we don't need you to make one of several super cool weapons and magical items.
That would have been nice. I would have liked that. That's actually fun for me. All right, what do
That
you
sounds
want?
like a good time, yeah.
Yeah. Do you?
Ah.
And then she gives Bron a once over, like, oh. And then she looks at the gem in his chest, like not in his chest, but though you have designed it exactly like Iron Man, I've only just noticed. Yes. And she's a Corvum. She looks at it and goes, "Ooh, what's that?" Completely, like, you've lost her. She's gone full Artificer mode. She's gone full ADHD, and she's like, "Ooh, what's that? What does that do?
Ooh,
What does it do?
this.
Did you do that?"
Yes. So this was sort of an accident, but a fun one. So if you touch it, boop, then darkness, 30 meters.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
kind of fun.
Yeah, that's neat. Cool. I like
That'd
it.
be great if I could see.
Well, exactly. Oh, cool. All right. Anyway, so you don't want me to do that, or that?
Well,
Oh, because you've got
look.
you found a new artificer, have you?
no. You will always be
You'll always be my number one
number
artificer.
one gal for elemental stuff. And look, I've actually got something for you. And he will dig through his backpack for something that I forgot existed, and I'm not sure where it's from. So good luck, DM. I have what I've listed as a vial of elemental slime.
Oh, that was from slaughtering the thing that was in your mum. That came out wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Daddy
Nice.
issues.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Maybe it
When you
was.
finished killing the dead thing, there was some ooze, and you kept some of it. I remember
slime.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't weird at all.
This is the discharge from the thing that happened inside your
That
mom.
was inside my
so,
mum. Yeah.
uh-huh.
Hey, Gabby, here's some discharge from my
Here's
mum.
here's a black slimy discharge. Mm.
Uh-huh.
Daria continues to
this
not
was
be the
from-
problem.
This was from the death elemental that you helped us to excise from my mother, which I greatly appreciate. This is for
Oh.
you. I don't know if you can do anything with it, but I thought you might appreciate at least taking a look at it.
Okay, thanks. That's
Sorry that I didn't
neat.
give it to you 3 months ago, but it felt like everything just went fast within the course of a couple of hours.
Yeah. She's like, no, I get it. Thanks, that's cool.
Anyway,
what's the favor?
yeah, so the favor. I don't know if you've heard, a few people have gone missing in the roots recently.
Yeah.
Sorry, my Bluetooth device is talking to me. Um,
Who's that?
Stop that, mum's ooze. Don't worry about it. So that's what me and Bron and Cash and Julio are going to investigate. But there are some energies not dissimilar to that that we're a bit worried about. So we're wondering if some of the tenders could be spared to make a bit of a cordon, something of a safe space around the life node down by the cathedral.
Yeah.
So that if things continue to escalate, that there is at least somewhere for people to go that is away from death energy.
Right.
Speaking of which, we're also dealing with a pre-death node on the western side of the tree, I believe.
Oh god,
So
that's not good.
yeah, exactly.
That close to a life node, that could like explode.
Oh, that's probably not good.
Yeah. So if we could spare another couple of tenders to maybe cordon that off and try to prevent it from getting any worse while the rest of us are out trying to investigate, that would be really great.
Yeah. How do you propose we do that? Because I'd be honest, I'm dealing with something similar.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with something else at the moment. It looks like there's a sickness in the tree as well. So that actually could be to do with that.
Yes, I think they're related. Julio communed with the Alderheart, and it seems the sickness seems to have stalled around the level of our cathedral at the moment.
Right.
In
the trunk. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we are on something of a time crunch for that very reason, but yes, I believe they are related. There's been a bunch of oozes seeping out of the tree, which I believe these things have been using the Alderheart as a means of transportation.
Right. Then, can those wounds be healed?
Yes, at least in the short term, I healed at least one myself.
We poked it with a paintbrush.
We sure did,
and that worked.
That is something that we did.
Yeah,
I mean, that healed it.
Oh no, but big on poke.
I gave the Alderheart a bit of a jump start. So theoretically, any holes and wounds in the Alderheart could be healed over, at least temporarily, but when I did it, there was some resistance from something that wasn't the Alderheart. So I wouldn't expect that to be a permanent solution. And even if it was a permanent solution, it doesn't solve the problem of the rot in the Alderheart itself.
Death node. No. All right, but I can deploy tenders to fix those up at least. Yeah.
Great. And maybe, to help to establish a kind of safe zone around the life node. There are also brigadiers and perch guard that are being deployed for
if they can
similar purposes.
If they can provide armed guard and escort for the tenders, because, you
they can absolutely do that.
Notable exception of being a combatant among us.
Just FYI, what's in the room while these guys are talking?
This is Gabby's office, so a lot of shiny things, trinkets, bubbling, like I don't think she's a chemist. But tool benches, there's a lathe, there's large it is a medieval style blacksmithy / woodworking shop, but on one side of it is a semi, like, neat desk where she's actually, like, it doesn't look like she would normally spend a lot of time here, but she is right now. There is more papers on it than Eric has ever seen before, and none of them have, well, they've all got, like, scribbles in the margins when she gets distracted and like, draws little pictures of things that she's thought of, but a lot of them are actually, like, official documents and stuff where she's actually issuing orders and things. She clearly hates it. And is not cut out for it at all, emotionally or yeah, just mentally. But yeah, very, very clever woman, just not
Is her
this.
is her name on the documentation?
Yes.
Or is it addressed to Havel, or is it just kind of addressed to the tenders?
It would be, well, it's like orders being sent out. She would be putting her name on.
Okay.
And with underneath with acting head of tenders Alderheart. Yeah,
Right.
it's very temporary. She does not anticipate being here long, and she's very grateful and quite, like, she looked immediately, oh, fuck, when you said, yeah, I'm not sticking around. She's like, well, look, where are you heading? You don't have to tell me.
Yeah,
for now.
to the way of Meadowfen, I believe.
Winnowing Reach.
But Winnowing
Yes.
Reach, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Meadowfen is
that
beyond
way,
that way. Yeah.
You know, this is an ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know,
So
this is an ooze problem, so that area, yeah.
So you're going to check out the oozes out there, or to see, because I know they've changed.
Yeah, two
Yes.
experts apparently.
Yeah.
Well, one expert and one enthusiast.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go talk to them and see what they have to say, and then come back.
Yeah.
I just need to add this to the discourse. You could call them an ooze-thusiast.
Nice.
An
Enthusiast.
Enthusiast. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. You've got inspiration already.
I don't deserve it for that, man.
No.
But like, yeah, so Bron is giving these answers like elbow deep in tools, being like, "Oh, this is cool. Look at it." He's not actually going to like change what's there, but he's just professional appreciation of the setup.
Yeah, she's watching carefully, noticing that you are being very respectful. And yeah, otherwise she would have said something. But she's like, well, then if you're going to talk to an enthusiast, or even
that's a good one.
Yeah, thanks. Or even an expert, you might want to take this. And she gets out the vial of necrotic ooze that you gave her. Because honestly, if you're talking about ooze specialist, take that to them. See what they reckon.
Sure.
I appreciate the present. And look,
Yes.
once
I kind
they
of wanted
tell
to
you
give
what
you
they
something.
I do appreciate once they tell you what they reckon they could do with it, bring it back and I'll do it. I'll be interested to see, like, okay, call it a return of the favor of me organizing the thing when it's really supposed to be your job.
Well, if this helps, I believe I have a jar of Alderheart ooze/sap. If it's the opposite from last session.
Oh, I can have a look at it if you like. But don't you want to take some of that to get analyzed as well, or have you got?
Nuts.
Bron, why don't we take both of them to these experts so that they can compare them? They may be somewhat similar, and
can always
then when
harvest
they're
my
done,
own.
as Gabby says,
That's
we
true.
could Gabby can harvest her own ooze, and then when we come back, hopefully we'll still have these, and then we can let Gabby work her magic.
Why do I have so many plot-relevant com jars? Is my question. Why
Have you
is
not
this the
played
plot?
D&D before?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That
Look,
is-
this one has a little toy pony inside it.
This one
Anime
is on you.
figurines.
You did this.
It's on you. Ugh.
Well, you'd keep it on you at all times, wouldn't you? I wouldn't want to lose them. Enjoy your life, Tony.
while Bron-
I understand. I completely understand.
While Bron has been not tinkering away, I will kind of like look at Gabby silently and kind of side-eye to Bron and be like,
Yeah, she's cool. To what intent? And does
We're
get...
trying to pimp him out. We're pimping him out.
And Bron looks at you like, well, you're the Corvum. Like, yeah, she's hot. Go for it, buddy.
No. So to Gabby, I am gesturing to Bron, just to kind of be like, hey, look, I found another artificer, and he seems neat, and he's taking an interest in your stuff. Isn't that cool? That's the intent.
Okay. She goes...
If she wants to fuck him, then she can. But
She
that's
doesn't.
not.
She, unlike Eric, is into feathers.
Yeah.
But yeah, she sees it like, I think, yeah, she would notice and go like, so Bron, what are you doing? Like, because you're an artificer, same as me. You're always doing something. We are always doing something. What are you doing?
Well, so, and also I'm gonna point it out here that I kind of got it a bit mixed up earlier. My darkness gem is in the gauntlet.
Oh yeah,
the little gem. Yeah. So I'm always kind of working on and upgrading this, and he'll put the center diamond thing, and like his armor will grow out like it did before, like half growing, half like Iron Manning. Kind of like a tree with like little trees and leaves going all the way down. So like, yeah, this is always like I kind of upgrading this. This is a fun project. Yeah, that's it. Oh, no, I'm also making a deep fryer that walks.
Well, of course. I mean, why wouldn't it? You need that. Her beak is like hanging open.
Go.
Exactly. That's smart. That way you don't have to carry it. It makes sense for like adventurers like you guys. Yeah, you can just dinner follows you.
Yeah, and maybe actually I could also maybe weaponize it later, like boiling oil in a jet. That'd be kind of cool. But look, baby steps, right? We got to get it moving first without falling over.
Yeah. Abus asked an interesting question.
Had a great stress test.
Abus asked an interesting question. Do Humblewood crossbreed, essentially? I think birdfolk are known to sort of bird-to-bird interbreed a little bit, race to race. I don't necessarily know if offspring can come from that. Humblefolk probably less so. And I would say that offspring simply can't come from that. However, there is more than one instance in the lore I have read of same-sex couples with children. So either adoption or some other magical means is being employed to, or other, cum jars, is being employed
Please
here.
stop saying that.
That's the name of the episode. We can't stop. We just started.
It's a job for artificers when they retire.
Yeah,
Magical artificial insemination.
Havel and Tevor
Nice.
were different breeds. They like Havel is a Gallus, Tevor was a Luma. They were also a same-sex couple. And then of course there's the two Strigdads that you met like last week. And they have a technically, as in the lore, non-binary child. But that one bugged me a little bit because I'm like, this is a kid. This isn't a choice this child has made. This is just, we have chosen not to gender them. But they are they, them pronouns specified in the book. And I'm like, that's an interesting one. You're about to meet another they, them person as well. And I'm just like, you can have too much representation. Like, just like, I think that it felt a little squeezed in and unnecessary, but like, why not? Sure. So,
What's the situation with Humblefolk and Birdfolk?
I think probably not super common, at least partially because of the racial tensions. But I don't think it's impossible. Indeed, that I have seen a reference to a couple. Also, there's Ace. Let us not forget, if sex isn't your drive, then it's more about your attraction to the personality of the person rather than their breed or whatever. Then yeah, I don't see. I'm gonna say canonically there is no law against it. There's not even any social like, oh, don't do that. It's just it's considered unusual, but it's not wrong. It's just not often done, sort of thing. And I may well explore that later on. So there you go. Excellent. Well, then, if that was an interesting conversation. Bron got to meet a person. Gabby is like, Eric loses about 15 minutes listening to Bron and Gabby geek out over.
There's definitely
Bron's
a point
armor.
where Eric is considering just leaving, and he's very close to the door.
Yeah. And Gabby would eventually snap out of him and go like, oh, no, you need to go. If you're going to go.
Oh, yeah.
And come
We
back
got a
as soon as
beetle
you
to
can.
catch.
Yeah, have fun with that. And I shall see thee rapidly on thy return, yes? Yes.
Yes, of course.
We'll try
Eric,
and
I need you
deliver
to
him
run
you.
things.
Eric, I
Would not
can't.
delay unless I happen to lose some time in the elemental plane of death if I were to go to such a place.
Is that
Bye.
a likelihood? Okay, bye. Bron. Maybe, who knows? I'm up for whatever. Maybe I'll be Pope.
Hey. Oh, if it's the elemental plane of death, maybe I'll be the anti-pope.
Death Pope. Oh,
No.
Bron is actually Bron is
There's
secret
the next
BBG.
season. Tree Pope versus Death Pope.
That's
Yeah,
cool. That's
that
cool.
would, in this
Friends
diagram, actually
turned
make-
rivals.
This would make Julio
Turned
Captain
lovers.
America. And it's Iron Man versus Captain America, and that's the final battle. This is Humblewood Civil War 2.
Hell yeah.
Shroom
Yes.
Pope! Yes. Alrighty. You guys, we jump forward about a day or so, and it is now late afternoon in the mock fields. You have trekked out to Winnowing Reach rapidly as well. The ride has been... I think riding on a beetle would actually be fairly comfortable. With
Well,
six
like,
legs.
It's a smooth gait, you know.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's
Oh,
not like
not
the
a
gallop
flying
of a
beetle.
horse. No. They're not large enough to carry you in flight, but more the equivalent of a horse, and about the same size, maybe a little wider. Kesh particularly has a really comfy time. Your mount calls itself Black and Shining. He is really stoked to have a rider who can talk to him.
Aw.
So yeah,
And I will happily make conversation with him about various beetle-based concerns.
he's got very little interesting to say, but he is really stoked to say it and have someone listen to him. So it's now late afternoon, the following day, and the earlier autumn air has a slight chill to it as you come within sight of the Reach. Eric and Kesh have certainly been to Winnowing Reach before. In fact, that's where we first saw Kesh in this setting. She was about to rob a place and asked Trish's help, and Trish turned her down, interestingly. And so she went and did the robbery on her own and got caught, and was put in prison, and the original party managed to secure her release on the grounds that she would help them. She was basically paying off her debt to society with community service in dangerous adventures. So she's already fought slimes in Winnowing Reach already, but before Karen was playing her. And then they were tasked to take her to Alderheart for imprisonment and trial, and she escaped on the way to Alderheart.
See?
Started leading the...
Yeah, it's complicated. She ran away. She ran back to the Bandit Coalition, of which she was a member, and then the gang wound up at the Bandit Coalition's headquarters in order to either assassinate or convince the leader of the Bandit Coalition to step down or sign a peace treaty. And Kesh sort of got involved in the boss fight, basically, against the leader's second in command at a pivotal moment, saved the day a little bit, and the leader was like, okay, you're my new two, I see, seeing as I can't trust the old guy. And so Kesh got a fairly heavy-duty promotion, and at that point was still just an NPC. And we jumped time forward a little bit, and Kesh wound up, massively promoted, and fortunately just within her capacity. Yeah. So, Cash, you might want to avoid Waldron Crane.
I seem to either get fired or promoted.
Yeah. You might want to avoid Waldron Crane, the magistrate of Winnowing Reach, who does still maybe have
Probably
a little
still
bit
has
of beef.
some feelings.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Remember, we need to meet the magistrate and his daughter.
His niece.
Niece, yeah.
Oh.
His niece Kenna. Yeah, we need to meet her. I'm sure if we ask the magistrate, he'll be more than happy to point her out to us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that he would love the honor of meeting all of us, the saviors of
Yeah, we're
Alderheart
kinda
and
bigwigs now.
friend, Bron.
Mm-hmm.
I am friend.
Look, just in the interests of
Full disclosure.
honesty, the magistrate is not my biggest fan, so matters might go smoother if I'm not there.
How
Wait,
do
was
you
he
know
with the
magistrate?
cult?
Sorry?
Was he with the cult?
No, it was a more mundane matter, you could say.
Okay.
Fine, I did a robbery here and he caught me.
He did a robbery. Ooh.
Wow. Would not have expected that from you. You seem so, like, put together.
Different times?
Yeah.
How long ago was this? Maybe he's forgotten.
I don't know, like
7 months.
less than a year. Look, up until relatively recently, I was a full-time criminal, so
Oh.
I mean, say
That's
I
true.
can't judge. I was a pirate, you know.
Which
Yeah,
is like a
but-
nautical criminal.
he's a
Yeah,
magistrate.
that's-
Judging is kind of in his nature.
True.
And as far as he's
Yeah.
concerned, I have not paid my debt to society, which is unfair, given
Well, you
everything
don't know
I've
that.
done for society.
You don't know that. Just the last time you saw him, he was very much of the opinion. You haven't seen him since, Savior of Alderheart thing.
And look,
Well-
admittedly, I hadn't saved the Humblewood last time we met, so maybe he's warmed up to me, but
Yeah.
there's
Also,
still
did you say you robbed him, or did you try to rob him? Because those are
him.
different.
Not him.
No, I didn't rob him. I tried to rob
Oh.
someone else and ended
Exactly.
up in front of him when I got busted because my friend wouldn't help me with the robbery and I was understaffed.
Understaffed. That's like the
By
story of your life, though.
understaffed- Yeah. Well, look, Cash, it's entirely up to you. If you would rather remain unseen, then I'm certain that the three of us could deal with any official kind of matters. I'm certainly here on official business on behalf of the
Exactly.
tenders.
I mean, you can always go in and drop my name and see how he reacts, and if it's not, clapper and irons.
Okay, Cash, I feel like the news about you being very high up there and saving Alderheart has been spread far and wide. If he had any beef, he would have probably contacted the officials at this point.
It'd just be so much easier if we had the
I
message.
think you're giving
though.
yourself a little. Yeah. Woof. Anyway, I think you should give
Every
yourself a
time.
bit more credit because you've done a lot. You've done a lot for the country, and if they haven't been aggro since, pretty sure they know not to bring up such trifling matters. And it happened 6 months ago. That's like 5 seasons of a show or something.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to rob someone, didn't actually go through with it, versus
Exactly.
saved the tree. That's, on the scales. It's got to be worth
Okay,
something.
well, fine. But if I get arrested and clapped in jail, it is up to you guys to get me out so we can actually
Oh,
save
easy.
the tree again.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Wait.
Don't worry about
Let's
it.
not say, hey, easy, when it comes to breaking someone out of prison.
Like we
But yes,
haven't done
obviously
that
we'll
before.
do that.
Yeah.
If you guys couldn't manage a little prison break at this stage in our careers, I really don't know what we've been doing all this time.
Our reputation would have taken such a hit.
Have you ever tried to sneak out of an orphanage? Oh,
Yeah.
walk in the park compared.
Your orphanage.
This is why I'm so good at stealth.
There is a story there that we need to get when we have some time.
Okay, so we have 2 places to go. We have the expert hedge person, inventor, Gert Holofen, and we have the magister of Winnowing and his niece. Who do we want to look at first?
I want
Well,
to
if I'm
stress
gonna get
there was
arrested-
actually no need for you to talk to Waldron Crane at all.
Yeah,
His-
but the drama of it all. Come on.
Yeah. All right. So 3 then, because his niece does not live with him.
We don't know that.
No.
Yeah, we
okay.
have no
Valid.
idea. Come
That's
on,
true.
Literally,
God, don't give
all
us
we know
this.
about her is she likes ooze and she's the niece of the magistrate.
Very well.
They're really committed to get Cash and this guy in the same room.
Yeah,
Consider,
yeah.
consider my
Juicy.
objections withdrawn.
We don't have DM knowledge. We don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, to the
alright.
magistrate.
To the magistrate's house. Yeah.
Yes.
So, initially, so indeed, the Winnowing Reach has actually been quite noteworthy in the last couple of months because of the bogs drying up, which initially had the population really quite ecstatic. Though there was some low-key concern about potential loss of livelihood, as many around here have jobs that depend on slimes and the bogs. However, the Avium sent a team to look into it, and while it was not known what occurred, a huge surge of elemental energy, and the whole region has become somewhat remade. The bogs and swamps transformed into a verdant wetland, covered in streams and bayous, mingled with tracts of drier land, teeming with new growth. Even now, in mid-autumn, the reach is still overflowing with life. And yes, Bishop Blood, that does mean winter is coming to the Humblewood. Winnowing Reach is a
Quick,
map
where's
hatcher's
Sean
delight. Winnowing Reach is a map hatcher's delight. It was built with expediency in mind. Ramshackle walkways crisscross above streams and pools, whilst above them, rope bridges and in places branches druid-crafted to the same purpose carry folk from to the levels above. The branches are bustling, people busily carrying glass vats of slime and warm food and pastries. Here in the Reach, the trees are unseasonably green and the air is quite humid. Birdfolk and humblefolk are bartering in high-up canopy bridges, shouting loudly at each other in cheerful tones. It is a lively trade town with a purpose, and it is obvious that the slimes have touched every corner of life here. The magistrate's house is found in roughly the center of the place. It is the Humblewood equivalent of a Queenslander. It is in a tree, but sort of built a little bit on stilts. And a lot of the houses around here are for the same reason. It even has a crane built onto the side of it, presumably for larger, moving heavy objects. And yeah, it's for this town pretty opulent looking. But in any other place, it would be fairly ramshackle. So it still matches the vibe of the place, but it's probably the nicest house in the whole place. And a fairly wide staircase leads up to the upper level. There is a balcony running all the way around it, and then within there is the main house, home, and office of the Magistrate of Winnowing Reach. Heading up, there is a couple of guards. Oh, yes?
Just really quickly, as it's the next day, can I assume it's safe to hit the long rest button?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Fantastic. Continue.
Yeah, I do know that Kenna is an avium so-and-so. As such, perhaps she is familiar with jelly. She's not. Kenna is not an avium so-and-so. She is self-taught.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
There.
carry on. All right. There is a couple of guards at the base
You
of
are
the
mentioning
stairs.
guards?
Yes. Guards.
I
at
was
the
scratching
base
my
of the
head.
stairs. Yeah. Sorry. Carry on. Nicodemus is an avium so-and-so. Absolutely. Yes.
That's an official title. When we come closer, before we even like go talk to them, do they seem on edge? If they see Cash, like, are they like, what are they? What's their vibe?
There doesn't seem to be any issue with your approach. They do sort of.
Nice.
You're here to see somebody. Yeah. They're a pair of bird
We
folk.
are here to see the magistrate. Official business.
Very well. Rovaljax has bought a D4 bonus for cash. Thanks very much, Rovaljax.
Aw, thank you.
That's for your escape from jail.
Yeah.
I'm just like, is that for my charisma save with this dude?
Yeah, they say, what business shall we say to the magistrate?
Whose business?
Whose business from the Alderheart with the Pope of the Alderheart, with Cash Glitterweave, the commander-in-chief of brigade, tenders, and
my-
friends.
Colonel, he says, Colonel Glitterweave. A
Hello.
pleasure, ma'am. I'm sure the magistrate would like to have a chat. What brings you to Winnowing Reach? Or is that
We have a ooze issue for which we need some expert advice.
right? Okay. Look, the magistrate's in. I'll go and see if he's busy. He stomps up the stairs, knocks on the door, comes back about 30 seconds later. You hear hushed tones. Can't make out any words, but he comes back and says, the magistrate is keen to chat. Come on up.
Julio will turn to Takeshi and give her 2 thumbs up. Like, ah?
She's kind of just gonna just quickly straighten the uniform, make sure she looks like do the quick slip.
Do you want my toupee for like added, epicness?
No, I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard.
Yeah, gravitas. No, okay, fine. Wait, do you mean my toupee is trying too hard? Is that
No,
what
I
you're
think it would look
I think we should go in now.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a busy man.
Eric is probably at the back, suddenly behind Cash, and will just kind of put a talon on her shoulder in reassurance.
Thanks, Eric.
Cool. You head on up the stairs and go in through you're welcomed in through the front door. It's a little incongruous. It's got a stained glass sort of window in it, with a picture of a Luma woman in flight on the front, set against the backdrop of trees, but all done in stained glass. It's very pretty, and it was probably quite an expensive thing. Heading on in, you hear, come in, and there is a hallway up, and to the right there is an office. Behind, to one side there is a desk, and sitting at the desk is I want to say he's a Corvum? Yeah. A Corvum man named Waldron Crane. He's got a long pair of small little glasses perched on the end of his nose, but with very long arms. I think they're called arms to go back to hook onto his ears. The fun thing is birds don't have ears, so they actually have to loop around, and it's a full sort of circle around his head. They're perched on the tip of his beak, and he looks up, and he's got with the reading, so he doesn't with the string around his neck, so he doesn't lose them. He says, "Hello, yes, Major. No, I apologize, Colonel, isn't it now? Gosh, what a ways you've come up in the world."
It's amazing how fast you can get promoted in wartime.
Yes, dead man's boots, was it? I'm not 100% clear on the matter. Look, Colonel, let us say you have redeemed yourself somewhat since we last saw each other. So less said about it, the better, I suppose. I couldn't have you arrested now if I wanted to, I imagine.
Oh, that thought hadn't actually occurred to me.
Well, that is actually gratifying
I would be
to hear.
more than happy to. I was a little worried you were going to arrest me. I would be happy to make a generous donation to the local charitable cause of your choice to say sorry.
Look, no harm was done. You've shown yourself to be very civic-minded. I think it would be unnecessary. Though, if you I'm not going to stop you. You're very welcome to. But the Reach is actually doing remarkably well right now. So we have no complaints, I don't think. If you want to donate charity, I'd push it towards the Ash Barrow people. They are doing it a little rougher than we are. Yes, I owe the Avium a case of the finest slime. Josh is trying to make up something on the fly. Slime liqueur. Yes, they distill a very fine liqueur. out
Wait,
of
jelly
it.
shots.
Yes,
Jelly
jelly shots. I owe them a case of jelly shots. Ooze
Nice.
shots. Particularly to those youngsters that fixed the issue out here. I don't know exactly what they did, but honestly, they've made the place significantly more pleasant to live. If a little bit more humid. It was a dry heat before. So you're here on why?
You said it was Queensland. That was
Yeah,
pure
no.
Perth there.
It's always been humid here. Hey, Terrace. Oh, wow. Congratulations. Are you soon to be a dad, Terrace? And that's weird, but not for the reason you think. Yes. Hope you're well, Terrace. Hope your cousin comes through it fine. And do we know what's happening with the baby? That's exciting.
I imagine the baby's also involved.
Look, the baby is probably also involved. As my understanding is, Terrace does stand to maybe adopt the baby. Is the question?
Ah,
yeah.
I see.
So
Probably
yeah,
after
that's-
the labor.
Pro-
It's
uh,
easy to
Yeah,
get
we
that,
figured that
right?
shit out afterwards. Yeah,
Okay.
but that's really exciting. Hey, Terrace, thanks for joining us, mate. Possibly tomorrow. We're not sure if you're going to be an uncle or a dad yet. Yeah, I reckon that sounds great. Awesome. Well,
That's
fantastic.
a good idea.
Yeah,
A dunkle then.
Dunkle.
Dad uncle.
Why is my brain like? Because I accidentally made an incest joke earlier in chat without realizing it. I was trying to type insect and typed incest. So
And a common mistake.
that's just still in my brain. Talks of dunkles. I'm just yeah.
Cool. Well, let's not go any further down that particular route. And the Waldron Crane says, yes. Well, what brings you to the Reach?
Well, given your recent ooze incident, we are having something of an ooze incident in the roots of the Alderheart.
Yes.
And
oh dear.
we were
Looking for
we
some
were-
expert knowledge, are you?
given to yes, we understand there's a couple of people here, one of which we believe is your niece, that might be useful in terms of information.
Oh,
that
yes.
might help us nip this little problem in the bud. So we thought you would be the best person to let us know where they might be.
Look, Kenna is yes, we're very proud of the girl. She's come an awfully long way, and look, she's proven me wrong. I did dissuade her, or at least attempted to, of pursuing her bizarre interests. But look, it's turned out all right, and she was actually involved in the whole solving the elemental issues out here, actually, with the help of those chaps from the Avium. But yeah, if you're wanting expert knowledge, you could do far worse. However, there is also another chap here who, I mean, the Reach has no shortage of people with experience with oozes and the like, but there's a chap, a hedge named Hollowfen, who is also very handy with knowledge there. But Kenna she's relocated I'll be honest, at my encouragement, her research is to the outskirts of the Reach. So if you head pretty much due north of here, you'll find she's got a little home. You'll recognize it. There's a paddock filled with oozes in it. Amaranthines knows why she keeps them, but she does. And Holofen, look, he's got more qualifications, and he's a little older, I'd say, probably more experienced, but Kenna is a very, very bright young lady, and I'm extremely proud of her.
Right. So, and where would we find Mr. Hollowfen?
Oh, just up the road. He's in the center of town. Couldn't get him to move out if I wanted him to. But he runs it's called Hollowfen's Emporium. It's just up from there's a bar called the Slagoon. the Gone Goose Lagoon, just two doors up from there.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. We got one just down the road and one a little further out.
Yes. Yes. If I can be of any help at all, let me know. Otherwise, busy man.
Yes,
Carry
of
on,
course.
Colonel.
Thank you so much for your time.
No, pleasure. Anytime. Thank you for what you did as well. And he doesn't just give that to Cash. That's to Julio and Eric as well. He knows who the heck you two are as well. And he says, actually, and he stands up because he hasn't yet, and offers a hand to shake to all three of you. And he says, "I'm sorry, I don't know you, young man. Are you you're an associate, I presume, an expert?"
Oh, yes. I've known Julio for a very long time. Yes. So brought on board for my mechanical expertise. Yeah.
I see. Well, splendid. Well, you're in good company. Well, thank you, everyone. And he says that with the degree of it's not just about thanks for the handshake. And then, he says, well, I won't hold you up any longer. So, where do you go first, unless you want to do or say something else to him?
No, I'm fine to go.
Yep.
If the others have
We
anything they want to bring up.
leave. As
You
we leave, as we get out of the mansion, Julio will like elbow Cashel would say, "See, that was so good."
Oh, sometimes it just feels like my past is much closer behind me than it feels.
Listen, I know how that feels. I'm still, worried about all that as well. But listen, all past is past, and what you're doing right now is very important.
Like, it wasn't like I was a bandit because I liked being a bandit. It was just the only thing I was good at, and was.
Well, clearly that's
allowed
not
to
true
do.
anymore.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Eric. And
I think-
like, if Kesh could blush from that comment, she would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadly Mouse, thank
I
you very
think,
much for
when
the
we're
follow,
done
you
with the
bloody
day-
champion. Avast, matey, you wee
Okay.
scallywag. Sorry, carry on.
Cash, when we are done with the day, I think this is something we can discuss because I have some things to tell you as well.
Okay.
All
Well,
right,
I think
where are
we
you
should
going
go
first?
visit the local guy, 'cause he's just down the road.
Bert Holofen.
Yep. Very
Yes,
well.
Mr. Holofen first because he's the closest. And then I do think we should visit Kenna as well because sometimes, people who learn outside the strictures of conventional learning have interesting ways of finding
That's
things
true.
out. and it's
Slime
always worth
Farm.
getting-
I agree.
Lion Farm.
Also Slime Farm.
Very well.
I
you-
believe they like to call it Slime Ranch.
Yeah, it's a ranching thing. You head up the street. It's as he said, it's pretty close. Find yourself outside the door to Gert's Emporium. It is a circular building in the roots of a in the lower level of a very large tree. And not Alderheart big, but a very sizable, but still within the sort of normal realms of an oak. Entering, you are greeted by a mishmash of vials, trinkets, and strange scrounge-crafted contraptions. The front of the shop is adorned with perfectly arranged bottles of shifting, colourful slime. These are the windows, and it forms as like an intricate display. It doesn't make pictures exactly, but it is very pretty. It's quite eye-catching. And even from one bottle to the next, it all seems to be sort of agreeing on what shape and color to be. Similar, so you get this flowing rainbow, oily, similar. That sort of shiny, purpley,
Chrome.
greeny, chromy sort of colors. It
Oh,
does
like-
that.
Yeah.
Like petrol on the water, like
Yeah.
little...
Yeah.
Yeah, that. A living lava lamp. Yes, exactly right. Have a nice
Pearlescent?
lurk, all right. Not pearlescent, but that sort of iridescent. That's the word.
There we go.
Yeah. Yes, pearlescent, similar. While
This is where I could get my pearl wanker hat on and say, depends on the pearl.
Well, yeah. While more like Mother of Pearl. I think Mother of Pearl is actually a pretty good. Yeah. Inside, every corner of the back is cluttered with slime being distilled, boiled, and stored. The organized wares are all tagged with worn parchment paper, characterizing the bottle's contents and properties. Inside is circular. There is a sort of the central desk in the middle, which is 2 semicircles of desk. That is where most of the work seems to be done. And then there is 2 rings of shelves, the outer ring being sort of displayed for window purchasers as well, window shoppers rather as well. And then the inner ring, the paper, parchment paper on tagging all of these is written in beautiful handwriting. And there doesn't appear to be anybody in here.
Is there like a little bell on the desk or anything of that nature?
There is a little tinkling one above the door as you come in. And it was clearly not designed for the purpose. Someone made it. Like, tweaked it for that goal.
Does it need retweaking?
No, it works. It tinkles as you come in. Looking at it, Bron, you could probably figure out a way to make it work better.
Yeah. That sounds like a great idea.
Do that if you like. Let's have an intelligence check with proficiency.
Ooh.
As Bron does this, Julio will cast guidance on him by asking, like, "Ooh, what you doing there, Bron?"
And Bron's going to say, "Well, it looks like meant to tinkle a little bit, but doesn't look like it was designed for this. So let me see if I can adjust things a little bit." Intelligence
You have
check.
a
So
D4 additional.
amazing. So that's that's just the straight. My proficiency is 4, so that's a dirty 20 plus the D4.
Plus guidance. Love it. Yep.
Oops.
I presume that's what Julio has done. Guidance?
Yep.
Which is a 1. Okay, so 21.
21.
Nice.
Yeah. Bron, you can tell that a simple, a slight tweaking of the metal bracket holding the bell up will angle it slightly better to make it tinkle along the door slightly better. You can also there's also a bit of just the metal needs a bit of a clean, and the bell, the little clacker within the bell doesn't swing particularly well, so it just needs cleaning a little bit. So a bit of WD-40 later, and a couple of tweaks with a wrench managed to bend that arm down a little bit better, and testing it out 3 or 4 times, you make a lot of noise.
Bingle.
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic.
While Bron and presumably Julio have been doing this, Kesh, Eric, have you been doing anything? Just waiting while Bron fixes the door of a stranger's shop?
I am squinting at all of these different ooze concoctions and reading what they do.
Yep. Make me a perception check.
With pleasure.
Can I get in on that?
Yes, go for it.
Oh, crit!
Oh, fuck. Okay.
28.
Nice.
Jesus.
Oh, that's juicy.
Oh,
I
and
got
Eric
an
with,
11.
I'm
with
going to
a
really
2.
want that natural 20 later, and
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have used it on seeing what slimes are in the room.
So, there is a few slimes in here. So, the vast majority of these are basically just slime examples, like just collections of. It's like a library of slime. A slimebury? A slibrary. And, most bottles hold common slime residue. Some labels boast of more magical and potent slime rarities. The prices are not listed, but Gert is willing to sell them to the right buyer or offer them as gifts in the right circumstances. There are a few in here, like with a nat 20, I'll tell you that there are several that are just hecking useful. You find he has there is an anti-boil cream, which works like a standard healing potion, but has the strong odor of rotting fruit when you sniff it. The cream of ooze moisturizing face serum. Which
Who needs a moisturizer when everyone in the world is covered in feathers or fur?
it basically it's a free casting of prestidigitation. There is the draft of Feather Shine, which, when consumed, the creature gains advantage on charisma ability checks for 24 hours and saving throws.
Wow, that
That's pretty
actually,
good.
yeah.
Alluring dye of any colors, there's loads of them. When applied to a creature's feathers, fur, or hair, it is permanently dyed, and the creature gains a +2 to charisma saving throws for 24 hours.
But it doesn't mention toupees, so don't get too excited.
No,
no,
I'm excited for
it's-
pink feathered Eric, honestly, but go on.
And then there is a talon tincture, which, when applied, it's the same as the feather shine, but it's dex. Dex ability checks and saving
Ooh.
throws. Cream of ooze. Oh no. Mark Songs, no why. And Quote Menace. Thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag. Thanks for joining us. Yes, hashtag not that. Don't even mention it. So yeah, that's the things you find. As you repair the stranger's door, Eric and Cash have sort of been wandering around, perusing the shelves, and a trapdoor in front of the counter, sort of. So there is a passageway between all the shelves to the counter, and the trapdoor sort of comes up in front of it, looking directly at you guys. You see a hedge man, or a hedge person, as they are a they-them person, with almost like very similar goggles perched on their forehead to Bron, a thick leather smock, and they swing it open. A green-tinted hedge pops out of the cellar, bellowing a joyful welcome. Welcome, welcome! What are we looking for? Certain slimes? We have all kinds. A slime for all times, or just a friendly hello.
Well, actually,
We were.
we're looking for the greatest living slime expert in the Humblewood,
Oh.
and we were directed your way.
Oh, I wouldn't know where to
Are you
find that
Gert Holofen?
person. I am, however, Gert Holofen. You guys long-time guests or new to the area? Caught up in the hubbub, or you just want some tea? I know.
Ooh.
You
I'm
look
gonna
like you
select
guys have
new
come
to
a
the
long
area.
way. You guys have looked like
Wow.
you've come a long way. You need a spot of tea. Have a seat and tell me what ails you. And he winks at you.
I feel like I can't say no to.
Yeah, it's an energetic guy. Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
a person. Yeah, let's get
Maybe
some.
he's partaken of his ooze.
This is an unusual character, though less so here in the Reach. This hedge has accretions of slime on spots between their spines, as well as a little on the copper goggles they have over their eyes, which serve to magnify their eyes to strig-like proportions, until they are pulled up on their forehead, which they do now. They wear a well-used and stained leather apron, festooned with pockets and straps, all laden with vials and tools. They're fairly slender for a hedge, though hardly undernourished. Gert beckons you to a sitting area with the surprisingly clean armchairs, covered in doilies, and sets about boiling the kettle. Always keen to meet interesting people, you certainly fit the bill. What brings you to my humble abode? He sits and pours dandelion tea that smells just a little off, and gestures for the group to sit.
Well, we've come because the Alderheart is having a little bit of an ooze problem, and we were led to believe that you would be a person worth consulting on how best to handle the situation.
Oh, well, I can certainly chat about it. I mean, do I need to come to the Alderheart and have a look?
Oh, no, we bought some samples for you to look at.
Some jars, yes.
Oh, brilliant. All right, yeah. Hi. Well, pleased to meet you. Gert's the name. Slimes are the game. Often, mostly oozes and the like. Who do I have the
I'm
pleasure
Kesh.
of Kesh. It's lovely to meet you, Kesh. Nice to meet you. Sit down. Have a cup of tea. And he pours you some dandelion tea, and sniffing it, it does smell just a little bit off.
Can I do a perception check or something to determine
Yes.
more about that?
Maybe nature
Can
check.
I also can
Sure.
I try as well, but with something like investigation, being a cook, a proficient chef to
Yeah,
check what the
yeah.
ingredients are?
Bron is just going
Investigation?
to sorry.
No, carry on.
Bron is just going to assume that this is what it's supposed to be and drink it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It definitely is what it's supposed to be. Julio, Eric,
25.
it's hard to say. It's definitely not just dandelion tea, but it definitely is dandelion tea. Julio, judging by the state of his clothes, or the state of their clothes, the state of their goggles, you reckon it's probably just a little extra ooze.
Yeah, just for flavor, I guess, for spice.
Yeah.
Sure.
And this is
Julio
somebody
will
who
sit
knows
down
about
and
ooze
drink
as
it.
well, so yeah.
Yeah.
Might be yak butter flavoring. It's a strong entrance into the chat, Mark Songs, I've got to be honest.
Welcome to the chaos,
Yeah,
mate.
it's a pleasure to have you. He turns to Bron and says, they turn to Bron and say, love the headwear. Man after my own heart.
Same. Yes, I do like to tinker around a little bit more magical in my bent, but look, I very much appreciate the layout you got here. I mean, I'm in fact actually quite impressed by the separation you have. You've got quite a clean living area. Mine tends to just overflow into.
You should have been here 2 days ago. Oh, mate.
Oh.
It's not always like this. This is I had a friend over, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know how it goes. Yeah.
But there are benefits, and I say friend, it was Granny. And she gave me these chairs in the first place, so gotta keep them nice.
Yeah. Boy. Yeah. Well, that's what's good about having people visit. You tidy things up. You bring out the fancy chairs.
Outcome and the nice china. Exactly. Right, well, me old china. Let's you want to have a look at some slimes, do you?
Would like you to have a look at some slimes.
Yes.
Yes.
We would like to.
I will.
Yeah.
I will produce the vial of death elemental ooze discharged from my mum.
Do you tell him where it came from? He goes, ooh.
No.
Ooh. Oh.
I will just say this is a sample that we happened across a few months ago in the Alderheart. Tell me what you see in that.
Out comes a pair of glasses with the jeweler's lenses on them, and he flicks down several, and actually it's like he's choosing the right ones, like different wavelengths to look through them all. Several of them are colored glass. And
does it seem similar to me to, obviously Julio doesn't have a physical thing, but does it seem similar to Julio turning on his life vision?
It could well be a similar function. Yeah. But mechanical. And they go, yeah. Well, that right there, sir, is not ooze.
Oh.
It's goo. It's slimy, but it's not slime.
Right.
And as he shifts, like he just swirls it around. It's like, yeah, nah. That, however, is very, very nasty stuff, and I would not take it out of the jar. You could probably do something fairly interesting with it, but it wouldn't be healthy.
No, I imagine not.
Mind you, he looks over at Kesh, because Kesh's fangbow is sticking out from over her shoulder. Says, you look familiar from a newspaper or something.
I say Kesh, but my full name is Colonel Kesh Glitterweave of the Wildwood Brigade. So, formally, I'm head of spear now.
It's not ringing any bells, damn it. Oh, very cool title. Yeah, nice. That's fairly big, important in the Alderheart, right?
Moderately, yes.
Are you famous? I'm sorry, I'm rubbish at all this.
A little bit, I suppose.
Are you all famous? Am I meeting a bunch of famous people?
I think right now we are mostly trying to solve an issue, a crisis in Alderheart, because the thing is,
Oh,
the ooze that is like gathering there, it's abducting people,
what?
and the tree is kind of getting sick. So
Oh dear.
you know,
All
our
right.
thing might
Bad.
be a little bit short-lived
Sorry,
if we all die.
I got a little distracted. Sorry. All right. Yeah. No. So, and this is doing that. Well, that's no ooze. I'm sorry. And if this is in the tree, it'll die. That dead set. That'll just die. All the heart's done for.
This is not from the tree.
Good.
Bron has something that was taken directly from the tree.
Yes, and I give him the jar of the Alderheart ooze.
Okay, so this came from what? And he's holding the first thing you handed him.
From some death demon thing. Don't worry about it. We've dealt with it. It's not. It's killed.
Okay.
Did it?
But so this is
Yeah.
death.
This was from a being of the death elemental plane that was possessing someone.
Oh.
Abus just gifted me a D4. Thank you so much, Abus. That's very kind. Because I love this character. That's sweet. Thank you very much. I actually don't have myself assigned one. No one's ever done that before. Abus. He goes, I will remember it though. He goes, right. Okay, so this is death element. That's your answer then, because this is death elemental aligned. I don't know. I'm not an elemental specialist. I'm a slime.
Well, I
specialist,
suppose
but-
you could say we were more curious if the two were related in any way.
Yes.
Yeah, this one, no. Well, let's have a look. And takes the jar off Bron. And he goes, oh, this is more like it. Yeah, this is ooze. This is... Oh, dear. They are related, but not, like, directly. It's the same kind of nasty, though. But this is... Yeah. Two of you, and you may pick which two. I would say probably Kesh and one other. Make insight checks, please. Because
I would like to be the other.
demeanor
I have
has
excellent
changed.
insight.
Mark Songs, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag.
14.
Can I give inspiration on this check?
Eric just got a 27.
Oh, never mind.
It's fine.
Yep. He is... This has sparked recognition.
Okay.
In him. He says, yeah, that's very nasty. Yes. So...
Have you seen it before?
No, nothing, no. But if this is in the Alderheart, then it's dying.
Oh, okay.
Long term, probably, maybe, like, it's slightly more dilute than this. But you let that run around within the Alderheart long term, and that's a big dead tree you've got there.
Right.
Because we've got a potential death node forming.
That would not
nearby?
surprise me. That would not surprise me. Let this go on too long, and you might be having that.
So would it be like
Eric?
the slimes? Oh, sorry.
Eric, with that insight, he has just made a mental connection, and he is looking more worried. It was Death Node made him go, oh God. He goes, yeah. I can do some analysis on it for you if you like. Break it down, see what it's made of, and see how it was put together.
Can I just ask, are slimes normally affected by nodes like this? Are they normally?
It's not unheard of.
I don't know. Given
Here, out here in the Reach, slimes are absorbent, right? Like a sponge. So if you leave them around elemental magic long enough, they do tend to go a bit elemental. The slimes around here are mostly water or earth.
We've witnessed that before.
Yeah. Water or earth aligned. Frankly, I'm surprised you haven't seen any life slimes. That'd have been neat. Hey.
Yeah, that is weird. Question though, do they have intelligence? Because we have some information about slimes keeping, like, abducting people and keeping them, although comfortably, but as prisoners and having communication with such prisoners.
Or try.
Yes.
Attempting.
I will describe the vision that I scryed, including describing the ooze, the color, the fact that it had malleable bones inside of it.
A skull in it. Yeah. Yeah. They can be quite clever. The more of them you put in one place, they're not really individuals. You get enough of them in one place, they're just effectively one thing. And they'll just group and group and group together, and it's just one bigger slime. The more of it there is, the smarter it tends to act.
It's like a hive mind. Do they have their personal goals or ambitions in your expertise?
Look, I don't tend to deal with them en masse, literally. But I understand that the more of it there is, the more smarter it seems to act. There's a sort of an upper limit on the amount you can actually safely ranch. Otherwise, it gets too clever and it escapes. But he is nowhere near as bubbly as he was at the beginning of this conversation. Eric, you definitely still feel he knows more than he has said. He has a suspicion.
Do I sense what motive they might have for keeping that? Is it because they're being secretive, or is it because they don't want to alarm us?
It's because they don't want to be right.
Okay.
Oh, that sucks. Don't like that one.
Nastine consciousness, yeah.
Julio will put the cup with the oozy tea down and say, so when you asked us if we are famous, we kind of are in a way, but we're basically helping the Alderheart, and I'm something of a religious leader, trying to establish a religion around Alderheart, and Julio will take off the covering for his elemental eye.
And he gets right up in your grill. Like he
Okay.
the goggles come down, ding 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 ding, and he's like, "Oh wow, that's very." Is that hurt?
No, not really.
Ah.
I mean, I was already missing an eye, so
Right.
that part
Oh,
hurt.
good. Yeah. I mean, it's good that it didn't hurt, like getting but bad that it hurt the eye. Yeah. Wow. That's neat. Wow. And so okay. Yeah, look, I can, I'll do some tests and stuff and see if I can figure out exactly what is it you're looking to learn, I suppose.
So we need to stop the illness.
Yeah.
My elemental vision allows me to know that through the life veins of the tree, there is some illness circling. It hasn't reached the entirety of it yet. We have like special places in the Alderheart that are guarded against such things, but it would be very, very important for us and for everyone in the tree to know how to stop this as soon as we can. So if there's any knowledge you can give us, it is very welcome, because the time is not on our side.
Right. And you say people are being abducted.
Yes.
Where from?
Most recently, a school.
The root system around them, the goop, the ooze comes out, grabs people, and tries to get away with them.
Julio, please make me a persuasion check.
I will try. Persuasion.
Theory.
Okay, that's
I-
quite.
Not bad.
Can I help?
Yes.
By saying the thing that I was wanting to say anyway. We are prepared for, I would like to say, for anything. I sense that you're not telling us everything that you know.
Look. I've got a friend in the Roots. Well, several, but a good friend. Old friend. named Sage. She might be able to help. So I got into slimes a long time ago, and he kind of leans back in his chair, puts his feet up on the coffee table in a way that his grandmother would almost certainly disapprove of, and says, I had two friends in Alderheart, Leandric and Sage. He's a Luma, she was a Gallus, and the three of us were big into slimes, big into it, like really pulling it apart, figuring out how it worked out, all that stuff. And we did a lot of experimenting, like mucking around with it, seeing what we could do with it. Leandric, particularly, he was brilliant. He's a genius. He's so clever. He had this idea, and I liked it. Like in conceptually, it was a really lovely idea. To use slime as furniture, like a cheap alternative to furniture. If you could convince a slime to assume a shape, like a sofa, and just be that. So yeah, you don't need to build it; you just need to feed it occasionally. And it'd basically eat whatever. You give it table scraps, the sofa's fine. But it was. Look, it wasn't. We kind of gave up on it a little bit because it wasn't very nice for the slimes, I don't think. And you can make a slime big as a sofa. That's probably not that stupid. So yeah, look. But that was Leandric's thing. He was like, for the good of the poor people of Alderheart, looking to find a way to improve the people's lives. And yeah, it's always been our goal to sort of figure out a way to make slime help people. And you can do so much with it. And he gestures his store. He says, not anything here. There's nothing here that could hurt somebody. I don't make that. I don't do that, which is why I cannot help you with this. I don't think there is anything I can make with this that wouldn't be lethal.
Ooh.
Which isn't to say that's not useful, but I don't dabble in that. I'm sure it could be useful, and I'm sure in your line of work, maybe it would be, but I'm afraid you'll have to find somebody else to do it. But look, I eventually, Granny offered me the shop, so I came out here with the intention of setting up like a slime shop, sort of childhood dream. And Granny was all for it. She was really encouragement, and yeah, it was great. And I was sad to leave Sage and Leandric, but also kind of glad to Leandric was going down a dark hole, and Sage, I think she loved him, and was prepared to look past it a bit. Well, the things you're talking about, he had talked about, like, binding elemental magic into it, like, artificially. That's what rung the
would
bell.
something like that do to the intelligence or consciousness of an ooze?
Warp it, particularly if it's necromantic, which it is. It's the skull that really worries me.
Yeah.
Had Leandric been experimenting with necromantic?
It's been
abilities?
years. It's been 4 or 5 years since I last saw him. I didn't see him do that, but it doesn't mean he didn't or hasn't since. But there's also, like you say, like I said, enough slime in one place makes it smarter.
Would you know where to find Sage?
Yes. She has a cart in like a little stall in the roots.
Uh-huh.
She's Gallus, looks like a storm cloud.
Do I know that person in the roots? Have I seen them in
History
my
check. History check.
history check? Okay. History 7. I don't think that rings a bell.
No, she's not. It's not so much bad as just no. She's not a congregant of yours.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's like, yeah, she has a similar to me, but on a much smaller scale. It's more she's old money, so she doesn't need to work, so she does it more as like a hobby. But yeah, she's makes little trinkets, makes and sells little trinkets. I don't think she does anything with slime anymore, but she might know where to
What's
find
her
Leandra.
family name?
Cloud Swift.
Does
Gosh,
that
makes
ring a
up.
bell to me?
The Cloud Swift.
Being old money?
Yep. History check.
13?
Yeah, you've heard of the Cloud Swifts. Not a power family, just a money family. And something
Don't
of
know how they got their money.
a pretty much a spent force as well. Like the money's pretty much gone. And yeah, I would say with the 13, you've heard of Sage Cloud Swift, and she's probably the last of the line. And you would guess she is not wealthy exactly, but like has all the money she'll ever need, but no more.
She's comfortable.
Yeah, that sort of level of money. Yeah. What would the addition of necromantic and undead and deathly energy do to slime? I honestly don't know. I've never mucked around with it. It sounds really, really dangerous. I know that the elemental planes are themselves somewhat intelligent. Again, I wonder if it's an amount system. How much you get. You're talking about what sounds like quite a bit of necromantic slime. But there's also the concern of the bones. Necromancy, obviously deeply illegal, and I'd like to think Leandric wouldn't go there, but you put the bones, and you said they looked like they had runes carved in it. The bone.
I definitely said that, yes.
Yeah. I think I specified that. If I didn't, they did. It
sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, you said you described it as you saw it, so we say you did that. Hey, Dak. And he says, that sounds to me more like necromancy based around the slime, sort of in addition to. So it wouldn't be shocking if the bones were providing extra smart to the slime.
To the specific slime rather than to
specific slime.
The colony.
I wouldn't be shocked if that slime was an individual entity. In a meaningful sense.
Yes. That was the impression that I got. How do slimes form? Would slimes be capable of forming, say, on an elemental plane and then finding their way to us?
Probably. I actually don't know. I know that the way that you get a new slime is you get an old slime, feed it a lot, and then split it. The nicest way to do it for the slime itself is to feed it a lot and then give it 2 roughly equal-sized amounts of food, about 10 feet apart, and the slime will just try and eat both. And it will get to a point where it can't, so it has to separate, and you get 2, and then you just keep them apart. It's that simple. They are. It's what's it called? Asexual reproduction. Yeah, they don't have mummy and daddy slimes, as far as I'm aware. Might be different on the elemental planes, but my understanding
I'm not aware of any other way for a brand new ooze to just.
They don't grow out of the ground like daisies or anything like that. No. You can change them. They're very, like I say, they're very absorbent. So you put enough. If you were to get a non-elemental slime and then put this in it, and he actually hands back the discharge, he says what you would have there is actually something significantly nastier than this. I don't want to know, and I heartily endorse not doing it. But, and then if you were to put, say, I don't know, the skull of a dead servant in it, what you've got there is definitely illegal.
You mentioned before that it is strange that we have not seen any life slimes, which is curious because we have a life node essentially there, so it would make sense that they could also spawn by themselves.
Well, there aren't a lot of slimes in Alderheart itself. It's a fairly slime-free zone.
Right. My question is this: the sickness that is in the Alderheart. Obviously, my main concern is to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Would propagating life slimes be helpful to combat this?
Were you talking about any other kind of elemental magic? The answer would be yes. Most elemental, like, you know, that water and fire and earth and air, they sort of have a cancelling effect. When you mix them, they become something new. With life and death, it's a bit different and a lot more violent. If a life elemental and a death elemental were to mingle, what you get is a void elemental.
That's not good.
I don't even want to know what that would look like as an ooze.
No.
Void ooze. That's terrifying. If you encounter one and manage to kill it and get a sample, bring it here. I will pay you so much. But I don't even want to know.
I see. Thank you.
The short answer is I wouldn't recommend it. Don't make your own army of live oozes to fight the death oozes.
We'll end up with void oozes.
Yeah, maybe. I would class that as one of the better potential outcomes.
Okay, yeah. Well, that kind of puts it in perspective.
So, the best option would be to find a way of neutralizing the existing slimes and also the way in which they are being generated.
Have you found where? Do you have a vague idea of where?
Yes,
We
we do.
do have a vague idea of where, yes.
Because Leandric's old workshop was in the western end of the roots.
Oh.
Is that where the thing is? Yeah.
Well, that's where
Yeah.
somebody disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
Damn.
then, okay, I propose a course of action for you. Go see Sage. She can take you to at least the entrance of Leandric's. She can take you to his doorstep. I'd ask maybe if this is how far he's gone, if it is Leandric, please don't take her in with you. Because
Okay.
she shouldn't see that. If he is far gone. I'll look into this. It'll take me a few hours. Give me till tomorrow morning. And I'll see what I can tell you about this. And yeah, come back tomorrow morning and I'll tell you what I found. I'm afraid I can't put you up, but the Wrangler's Rest is a really nice inn. And
Is it possible to take half of that with us? To see...
Oh, yeah, I don't need all of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. He
Awesome.
pours out about half of it. He actually gets Bron and some thick leather gloves to assist him pouring out a roughly even measure. He's like, "Careful, don't get it on your fingers." Yeah, he says, "So, yeah, there is another girl around here you might want to talk to about combining elemental slime. She's more her bent is more about the elemental stuff. Kenna, she's quite smart. Yeah.
Yes.
She was also on our list, so
Great minds.
Have a chat with
pop
her.
her out there now and see.
Yeah, and I'll see you in the morning. Yeah.
Before we go, I was wondering, it seems like a bit of a turn to whiplash, but we were perusing some of your products, and I was interested in the feather tonic.
Oh, yeah, my feather, yeah. The draft of Feathershine, yeah. I could do you a discount, I suppose. You're heroic folks.
Sure.
Maybe a trade as well. A little bit of this. Tell you what, like the going rate's 700 gold pieces for a draft. But I could probably see my way to giving you a bit of a discount on that. Call it 6. But if we do a
Garrett.
trade, maybe, yeah.
I will mention something. With this tonic, it's helpful in persuasion, yes?
Yeah.
This
we have a
could
sample?
be
I mean, technically, that's a
something-
very meta thing. It really just makes you shiny and nice.
Right. All I'm saying is,
Yeah, it gives you a plus
Alluring.
24 for 24 hours. Yeah.
so Garrett, all I'm saying is we might need something like this to help our communication with Sage and make sure she doesn't get too worried.
Right. Yeah. Look, I'll have a think. I'll come back tomorrow. We'll have a chat.
Certainly. And look, a trade is definitely on the cards as well.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, have a nice evening. And yeah, come back tomorrow. I'll see you then.
Yeah.
And
Good
I
luck.
think we'll have a
Okay.
little breaklet now, gents and ladymen. So yes, we will be back in 5 to 10. Have a short little breaklet. See you guys soon. Bye, everybody. Vast ahoy and good day, mateys. We be back for some more Humblewood. But before we do that, before we talk a little bit more about Humblewood, we're going to talk a little bit more about Gaza. Because, as you should be aware by now, the people of Gaza are going through a bit of a time, as are the people of Israel. Look, let us not in any way state that Israel isn't also having a shitty time. The conflict over there is awful. And I don't want to minimize that in any way. I am not actually here to tell you what to think. That's not my role. That's not what I want to do. I just want to give you a little bit of information. So I'm going to do that. So here's our next little bit of information. Did you know that it was on October 7th, 2023, which was the last day of the Jewish holiday Sukkot? I believe I'm pronouncing that right. I could be wrong. Palestinian militants broke through the militarized border into Israel and over the next 3 days killed 1,139 Israelis and foreign nationals, including 764 civilians, including some who were at a rave, which is just rude, before being driven off. Since then, the Israeli death toll has risen to 1,410, which is awful, obviously. The Palestinian casualties of the conflict are currently 25,105, the majority of whom are women and children. This is over 17 times the death toll for the Israelis. 83 journalists, of whom 76 are Palestinian, 4 are Israeli and 3 are Lebanese, and over 136 UNWRA aid workers have also been killed. This is according to the New York Times, France 24, and the Gaza Health Ministry. We don't actually have number of Palestinian militants killed because the Gaza Health Ministry does not distinguish in its reporting. So there's some interesting facts. What happened in Israel was undoubtedly horrific. But this is just from the current conflict, 25,000 people in the last 4 months. Is pretty frickin' shocking. And as I say, over 75% of the population of Gaza, as we established before, are under 25, and 50%, and more than 50%, are under 18. So yeah, there you go. That's what happened. That's how what is currently happening, started. Which is. That's a thing. There you go. That's some information I didn't possess until I did a bit of a look. I didn't know that that's what happened, and that's when it happened, and that's how it happened. So that is my little due diligence for you guys to share. I always show my working. I will also put up the first one in case you missed it. This is a fun little one. Just interesting population statistics. 800,000 people living in Gaza. That's a guesstimate, but we think it's pretty right. That's a UN World Urbanization Prospects Report of 2018. That was the projected, we reckon, just over 800,000 people living there, which is a heck of a lot of people, and makes it the 40th most densely populated area in the world. An awful lot of people in a very small area. So, interesting factoids. I hope that was interesting for you, and if you feel in any way interested in engaging with that in some way, then there are a couple of links in chat there for you. There is a link to the Save the Children appeal, which is very specifically, I mean, Save the Children is the charity, but it's also very much the focus of the appeal. We are looking to help the children of Gaza, which make up over 50% of the population of Gaza. So if you do have any spare pennies in your digital wallet, please consider chucking them over there. And if you don't, but you still want to make a meaningful attempt to support, then there is a Gaza crisis petition from Oxfam, which you could go over and sign, the focus of which is very much about petitioning the Australian government to apply as much international pressure as they can to bring about a ceasefire, basically, so that international aid may resume, because Oxfam cannot currently do anything. It is being prevented by the Israeli government. And also just the number of aid workers who have died, Oxfam couldn't safely send its people in there anyway. So there you go. Let us get back on with the game then, folkses. We are back in the Winnowing Reach, which is a much nicer place than it was a little while before, because of the involvement of some elemental specialists from the Avium, one of whom was played by Karen, and it was Ardana and Terrace were the other two.
That was a fun little session.
That was a fun one, and it ended with one of my favorite scenes I've ever DM'd, like described as a DM. That was an epic Major Magicka event. Tower of slime, 10 about 100 meters tall, holding this little fennec fox up on the top of it, controlling the weather, bringing down lightning. It was dope, and fundamentally changed a significant portion of the Humblewood. So, back into it. You guys are now heading out to the outskirts of the Winnowing Reach to meet one of the people that those guys met, Kenna Brightspark, who actually Kesh has met, because Kesh helped save her life once. Kenna was, when I said Kesh had to do a bit of community service, it was going out into the mock fields to find a slime researcher on behalf of Waldron Crane. Waldron Crane later dropped that, that's my niece, actually, and I need you to find her for me. And so Kesh was seconded to the Flocks and Fire party to help do that. So you've actually met her. You saved her life one time. So she might be glad to see you, Kesh. Heading out, you find a... for those who have seen Star Wars...
All these important events that I don't remember.
Totally know about. This was Ep 4 of Season 1. We have progressed the narrative 39 episodes beyond that. So 139
and she was very much
episodes.
An NPC at that stage.
Yes. The party was level 2. In fact, were they? They may even have been level 1, but I think they were level 2. You head out to the outskirts of town. If you've ever seen Star Wars, most of us probably have. Think the Skywalkers Owen and Beru were not Skywalkers, but that little home on Tatooine, the little
If she serves as blue milk, I'm be disgusted.
It's a little igloo made of stone. And up against one side of it is a large fenced-off area. The fencing is unusual, however, as it is copper wire, supported on wooden fence posts. And within it are about 6 or 7 large slimes, all of them different colors. and clearly imbued with different elemental properties. One of them is a little bit bigger than the other five, and where all the others have like one color scheme, and sort of one of them is white and appears to have, blue white, and appears to have snowflakes drifting around inside of it, a little bit like a snow globe. One is a darker blue, and every now and again, electricity flashes across inside of it. One of them is a light blue and has the shifting, again, we go back to pearlescent, iridescent sort of thing. It has that sort of quality to it of shifting oil on water, colors running through it. The fence, the copper wire goes to the building and through a couple of holes in the walls of the building. And a young Corvan girl woman is feeding a couple of the oozes through the fence with a long pair of wooden tongs, and is holding out to them what looks like badly rotten cabbages. Like just goopy, nasty, but like, yeah. And yeah, holding that. That's what you see. She is wearing quite practical clothing. It looks like it's very well made, but not fancy clothes. And she doesn't appear to have noticed you yet. And a corvum, not like a crow, more of a magpie. So white feathers interspersed with the black.
I'm gonna wait for a moment when she doesn't have the tongs through the fence to call out, a greeting.
Oh, hello. Hi there. Cash! Oh my gosh!
Yes, hi.
She rushes
Nice
over,
to see you.
discarding a large sack filled with rotten cabbages, and a pair of wooden tongs, and sort of throws herself around you in a hug. And says, "It's so good to see you!
Oh.
I've been watching your progress with much, wow. Have you seen my uncle yet? Don't.
Yeah.
You might be fine, actually.
No,
Congratulations on all the things and the stuff and the wow. Sorry, hi.
This is Julio, Eric,
I do read the papers. Yes, hi. I don't know you.
And Bron.
I'm sorry. I imagine you're very cool as well. Nice to meet you. I'm Kenna, guys. I'm Kenna Brightspark. Nice to meet you.
You two know each other?
Yeah, Kesh saved my life one time.
Community service was,
Yeah.
Cool.
rescuing her.
Wow.
Yeah. Long time. Well, what was it? 2 years? 3? It was 7 months. It was a while back.
Less than a year.
Was it? Jesus. Okay. She doesn't say Jesus. She would probably say, wow. Okay. Cool.
Gatsby Christ.
Gesme Christ. Yes. Brother. Yeah. Brother of Jesus. She said, well, do you want to? Hey, what? Lovely to see you. Are you in town for any particular reason? Do you want a cuppa? Do you want a cuppa?
I think a cuppa would be a good idea with the less than great news we need to ask you about.
Oh, official business, is it? All right. Someone else comes seeking my expertise?
Something like that.
Cool. As long as you don't drag me off on another crazy adventure like last time. Actually, I'd be up for that. What do you want? Come on, let's have it.
No.
Wow.
She takes you inside. The house is...
Wow, indeed.
The house is 50-50 artificer's den and extremely practical, very nicely laid out. Show home style, modern, all the best, stone bench tops and that on one side, a modern homemaker's dream on one side, but then it's like 2 housemates live here, and there's a line drawn up the middle, and it's like, all side, my side, your side, my side. And on the other side is a mad inventor's workshop. And on side of the wall is a quartet of large copper urns, which seem to have fires burning underneath them, and appear to be attached to the copper wire that is coming in through the wall. They are letting off the occasional gout of... Some of them make a really foul-smelling steam, and some of it is a really sweet-scented steam. She comes and says, come in, sit down. And yeah, there is a lovely dining table made of a pine, and gestures for you to sit while she puts the kettle on.
This room is a rainbow of contradictions. I kind of love it.
Oh, I try and keep work and life separate, you know? My uncle was talking to me about that. I don't know if this is exactly what he meant. He said I took it rather literally, but alright, yeah. Clear separation of church and state, you know.
I think Bron has sat at the nice table, but is facing the Artificer stuff, so he's just looking at it, being like, ooh. But he's playing nice.
Yeah.
He hasn't wandered over yet.
If you want to make an intelligence check about what it does, you're very welcome to.
Yeah. Do I?
I am going to sit across the table from Bron and just fixate on Bron.
Yep, cool. Bron, it clearly is a 23 for those listening, not watching. A 23, it is clearly... it's obviously something to do with keeping the slimes inside, because wire would not stop slimes. So the guess would be some sort of energy transference to dissuade them from passing over the wires. Given that all of the slimes you saw outside are elemental slimes, then that is probably a fair bet about what this is. And she does see you looking at it, and she says, "Do you like it?"
Oh, yeah, it's cool. Is it like, so you've got the boiling things with the steam? Is there some kind of energy transference? Is this how we keep the slimes?
Yeah. Elemental. So each wire does a different element, because obviously I've got several out there. So you need the opposite element.
We'll put a pin in that and come back to it, because we have questions for you about, slimes that may not have an element.
I presumed that was why you were here. Cool. All right. Yeah. So she pours tea that doesn't taste of slime this time.
Nice.
This is a mint tea, and she says, "Hope this is good." Milk, anybody? Mint tea with bug milk, and
it's not yak butter.
It's not yak butter, no. And she says, "So, what can I do for you?"
Well, we have a situation unfolding in the Alderheart involving a number of slimes that appears to be abducting people.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
They don't.
They also seem to be having a sort
they
of
don't do
corrupting.
that.
Yeah, it's weird. They
Those
also appear to
people
be having
may
sort
be
of...
dead.
They appear to be keeping at least one of them captive.
Huh.
Let me tell you a story.
Yeah, Eric can give you the finer details.
And I tell her the story.
Interesting. She says, "That's very weird. Because when a slime absorbs, like when a slime surrounds something, that thing is eaten. Like, that's food. In fact, the skull shouldn't even survive. So presumably the skull's had some magic cast on it.
It has some runes intricately carved into it. So that's a detail that I definitely noticed immediately.
Yeah.
They possibly made the bones magic, which might protect them from being dissolved.
I mean, bones
but,
take longer to dissolve than everything else. Like if you see a slime that's recently eaten a person, there will be bones in it. But they often do spit the bones out. That'll often be the only thing that's left, and along with any of the metal. And most people have some metal stuff like buckles or
the skull was animating. The skull was not floating.
Yeah, right.
Listlessly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would
And
a slime choose to retain something?
might do. Might do. It might be that the slime was like using the skull to think, like a gestalt entity. Because slimes, as you may know, when you get loads of slimes, the more slime
They become more
in
intelligent, the more of them there are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so they're used to using other things thought processes, other mass to do more thinking. So it could be that this one has learned to use the spirit or the soul or the necromantic energy of a dead person to do more thinking and be smarter.
This one was orange. Does the color of a slime indicate anything about its
Usually,
its
yes.
affinity?
Yeah. Usually, it very much does. Thunder-aligned stuff tends to be dark blue, maybe a little purpley. Orange would, I guess, would be life. Life-aligned.
Life?
Maybe Earth.
Not fire?
Yeah, could be. With fire, one would be literally on fire.
Ooh, right.
Probably. I mean, I didn't see it, but from what you've described, orange, yeah, you've got earth, fire, maybe life.
See, okay, so part of the interesting situation is, so we've got the Church of the Alderheart right nearby, which has got a lot of life energy. Yes, it's a very beautiful place, and that's cool, yep. But also maybe nearby forming a death node, which is a problem. Also, yes.
How nearby to the, what's the proximity like?
Quite.
Very nearby.
In terms of feet?
Yes.
A few hundred?
Right.
Okay. We would have an idea.
A few hundred is probably about right. Like, probably about 500 feet. Okay.
So,
that might be enough to avoid a conjunction. Which is good, because we don't want a void node in the base of the Alderheart. That would be, like, lethal to everyone.
Very bad.
We do have tenders and brigadiers and perch guard setting up cordons, so hopefully the two substances shouldn't get too close to each other.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was thinking with this conversation you were saying about slimes. We haven't seen any life slimes yet, which is a bit weird, kind of. But also we're kind of glad about that, because what we don't want is life slimes and death slimes making void slimes.
I guess life slimes would be unusual because the sort of the native instinct of a slime, it goes kind of against what life is all about. I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but it would probably be artificial.
Yeah.
That being said, oozes are inherently not death either. Like, they are almost the antipathy of it. Like, they're very lifey anyway. They're like, you can't... killing them's real hard. Because they're just ooze. It's just goo. How do you kill goo? You don't stab it. Like, you can, and it does hurt them, but they don't... It doesn't work very well. So death and life are not things that normally. It's normally more the sort of the more atavistic elements, the more the more explosive ones. Life and death don't tend to get involved in that sort of thing. So, like, I've never heard of a naturally occurring death elemental, death ooze.
some ooze we'd like to show you.
Cool.
And
Actually,
I'll
sorry, she
kind of
goes, cool.
gesture to
Yes.
Bron, who I believe is carrying around. Oh god, I love giving nerds the thing they're nerdy about.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Now, this is not ooze per se. It is the remnants of a death elemental that we excised from a person and killed.
But this is ooze.
And
That is ooze. Right.
Yes.
So this is the ooze we're talking about?
extracted directly from the Alderheart.
Ooh, okay. Right. She says, may I?
Jeez. Then
She
you'll
takes
know
the
more
lid
about
off
it than we do.
and holds it like a sommelier. And oh,
Swirl it on the tongue. Delicious.
yeah. She does not lick it. Yeah,
That's something we have learned about dealing with elemental things.
Oh no! Never put it in your mouth.
Don't
Never
lick
put it.
the thing.
Never.
Yeah.
Maybe.
First time I heard that advice.
We would
maybe
never.
Earth ones. Earth ones actually are quite tasty, but only when you've cooked it properly. That's never raw. Never raw ooze. Okay. Yeah, this is. It smells rotten. I would say she's gonna do a few more tests. Like she takes it away to the other side of the room. She is no more than 10 feet away from you, but she goes into the side of the room where work gets done. And like as soon as she took it off you, she took 2 steps to the left very deliberately and started swirling it. Like it was like I'm going to work now, so I stand on this side.
Step into the office. Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, then there is a little pipette gets dunked in, and she just squirts that and starts pouring like and yeah, chemistry starts, and she goes, yeah, this is the best word I could give you is rotten. It's not even. Can I look at that? And she points at the stuff Eric has,
Yes, of course.
and she goes and does a few tests and goes like. Okay. I'm gonna suggest something, and you can nope it if you like. I want to take a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of this and add it to ooze. A tiny, tiny ooze.
We talked
Yes,
to
we've got
Gert.
protocols. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Gert just now, and he said that using any of it on the ooze can make something very, very bad happen. What would be your estimation of the amount you want to take?
Oh, I wanna make an ooze the size of a pea.
Do you have
So-
containment measures? I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
She goes, oh yeah, bustles over to one corner of the room and pulls back a smaller version of exactly what's set up outside. And
Nice.
she goes, boom, and she's like, right, now. No, you're right, this is stupid. I don't have anything life aligned.
Well, we do have the sap from the tree. Would that be life aligned?
No, that's imbued with death at this point.
Yeah.
Life aligned.
Would that be a good idea, even in a small amount of mixing life and death?
Yeah.
No,
Ooze?
it's more, no, because the ooze would know that. The ooze is like, nope, touch that, otherwise I die. That's why it wouldn't. It's a deterrent. And they can sense it.
Right.
So it wouldn't cross the wires. But I don't have anything.
Oh, I see. Julio, you don't have any life juju that you could.
Well, I have a lot of
Lens?
life juju, but nothing physical. I mean, if you give me like a lot of water to drink, I might produce something, but it's gonna take like 30 minutes.
Why would you?
She's the Pope.
Anything of the Alderheart would do.
Oh, do I have anything on me that is all the heart?
The
Flower
cloak.
cape?
Well, yeah, but I don't want to give him my. Okay, I
Not
can
the whole
give him one
thing.
of the flowers.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I don't need the whole thing. Okay, yeah, that'll do. Thanks. Okay, cool. She opens up one of the little tanks and puts the flower in and stirs it, and you hear this hissing noise. I am the DM, Taiwan Tim.
And he has his wife's permission to say so.
I am tonight. Tomorrow night, the DM will be the wonderful Tony Karlstrom. But tonight, it is me. I am Josh the Pirate, and I am the DM. Yeah, you hear this little
Allegedly.
hissing noise as, and then the fluid, whatever it is, in the little tank starts to glow slightly, a soft yellow light, and she goes, "Ah, pretty. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Was probably not something. Thank you. Cool. All right. Then she goes.
Before we continue, perhaps would it be wise for us to move this little experiment outside in case we need to dispose of it?
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. It's
your house.
No, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. I have done it inside before, but never with death. So yeah, not a bad thought. She carries it outside, and then she goes, Uzathi, and the large shifting slime, the one that with the multiple colors in it. She's like, I need a present, baby. Can I have a little? And she holds up the pipette and a rotten cabbage, and goes, and a tendril comes out of the ooze, grabs the cabbage, and she just gets a little bit of ooze off the tendril. It does not appear to bother the Uzathi at all, and Uzathi goes away and slowly dissolves this cabbage. And
Can
she
we get a
pours
stat
out.
block done for Uzathi, please?
Do you want to fight Uzathi after my own death?
No, I don't want to fight him. I want to make him an NPC that we can put into other people's worlds.
Oh, okay, so they can fight it. I see.
Yeah.
There is an official stat block for Uzathi actually in the Humblewood book. Uzathi is a shifting
Nice.
slime, which is they're rather fun. They take on the resistances of the last elemental damage they took, and they start
we
doing
have
that
fought
elemental.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you first met Julio, before Julio was an NPC, while Julio was still an NPC,
Yeah.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taiwan
Remember
Tim.
this, Julio?
Yeah. It was just
Yeah, very
was-
much so.
about a week
And who
before the
else
wedding.
was with us?
Yeah.
And Arthur, yeah.
No,
Petra.
Whoever his old boss was. Petra.
Petra Cloudburst.
Yep.
Taiwan Tim, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, mateys, you east scallywags. She takes this little one out, and basically she extrudes an ooze about the length of a finger out onto the little. It's a piece of metal, a plate of metal, about the size of an A4 sheet of paper, surrounded by copper wires all the way around a couple of times. She connects two pieces of wire very, very gingerly with her claws, and the whole thing starts to hum gently.
Cool.
Oh, you're very welcome, Taiwan Tim. And then she goes, now, baby Uzathi. And she's like, I'm really sorry. With the pipette full of discharge.
Nice.
Just to differentiate it from the stuff that... It's not the stuff Bron gave her, it's the stuff Eric gave her. She goes...
It's mom's discharge. We know.
Yeah.
Go on.
Squirts just a tiny amount into it, and it immediately goes pitch black.
Oh.
And she goes, yeah, that's what I thought.
Does
So-
the color look similar to what we fought?
What you've got there, that is a death slime. And it
Oh.
is not the same as what you fought. That's pure. That is some pure shit. So what you are fighting, what you are dealing with here is not death slime, which is good. It's death related. It's definitely death related, but it's rotten. It's not. There's something off about it. Death is.
Would the
I suppose the
would the
point
thing
is
that-
to make would be that death isn't always bad. It's just sort of inimical to us, but it's not inherently evil. It's just not nice.
So
I'm
that
not here to
mutated
debate
thing.
the ethics of the element of death. I'm here to debate the ethics of these slimes which are kidnapping people.
No, I know. But, like, my point is, it's doing bad things. You say it's abducting people, maybe eating them, maybe not, keeping them prisoner, whatever. I don't necessarily, I suppose, all I'm saying is don't assume that this is death, the plane of death, or death related. It is related to death in that they are using the power of the elemental plane of death, but it is not necessarily from there. The problem isn't from there.
Would this look like something that is modified by, say, a mage or something else? So it's similar, but it is like
someone's mucked around with this. Someone's If I had to use a word, I'd say cursed.
How would this curse or any other means be able to control a slime or a colony of slimes?
Maybe. Quite probably.
Remotely?
I would have thought so. There might need to be other ingredients. You said something about skulls in them. Well, that might be how, with the runes and everything.
We have a possible mage who might maybe be dabbling in necromancy.
Yeah.
Would that maybe do it?
Look, that does sound very, yeah.
A necromantic slime rather than a death slime.
Yeah, exactly.
Would this be considered an undead?
Yes.
You said that slimes inherently are life, right?
Yeah. This points down, this handsome little chap is not undead. This is an alive thing that is related, or that is inherently linked now to the plane of death. Just like this stuff. Do not. She's going to give it back. I was like, I don't want any more of that. Thank you. That was very cool. Would you like him?
Would he eat us?
No. Well, only feed him properly and no.
I would try.
I was going to suggest we kill him.
We
could keep him as a pet.
We can't have a pet right now.
Why not?
Ron, we're traveling too much.
Yeah, but he's small.
I'm more concerned with his potential danger to people.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, we don't have to kill him if you think you can keep him contained.
Oh,
but...
no.
We can come and visit.
I mean, I can definitely keep him contained. That's not my concern. But you're right. I live in a place that is very life. And this would not... Yeah. This is an abomination. We shouldn't do it. You're right. She goes and gets a massive wooden mallet.
Okay.
And she goes, nope, you're right. Bam! And just...
Okay, well, that's quick.
Sorry, I made up my mind and I had to do it before I chickened out.
Okay.
Yeah,
is there just a little smear now?
She's like,
If you don't mind, I might just do a little, and I'm just gonna light my hand on fire and just sear
yes, thank you. That's
the
way
surfaces.
better.
Yeah.
Also
good idea.
put the mallet down. This is worrisome.
How often do you use that?
That is the third time I've used it for that purpose.
So anyway,
I make weird shit, dude. This is my whole thing.
So we were
It's
saying
great to
that...
have an exit strategy.
Well,
It is,
exactly.
yes.
That's why I've got the little one. We start small, and if it looks dangerous, and you made a good point, it is extremely dangerous, and if I'd fed it a whole bunch, it would have grown. So, yeah.
Then it would be big and dangerous.
I don't want to make something that... I do not want to go down in history as the person who really properly fucked up the mock fields.
They have just become unfucked.
Exactly,
apparently.
and I
So,
helped with
yes.
that, so I don't want to... Yeah.
you don't want to re-fuck the field.
Exactly.
No. But so we were saying that was a death ooze, and this from the Alderheart is
It's
an
not.
undeath ooze, possibly.
That would be a good way of putting it. Not a nice way of putting it, but a good way of putting it.
Okay, sorry.
So they're kind of like necromantic creations.
Yes.
Right.
That would be my
Okay, well,
guess. Without being able to examine a living one, yes. There is definitely some Alderheart in here as well. There is, like, it's got the consistency of sap,
Ooh.
which is really not good for the tree. And I would strongly endorse, like, once you've dealt with this, there is going to need to be some pretty full-on reconstruction, like, reconsecration. I hesitate to use the word because it's religious, but, like, cleansing. Some proper healing is going to have to be done on the tree, in the roots around it.
Would we need to extract all of this
As much as you
weird
can.
sap?
As much as you can, yeah. It's cursed. It's
Do you-
undead. It's, yeah.
If you have,
Zombie tree.
do you have any tips for extracting and/or cleansing other
Allure?
than a giant mallet?
Allure?
A lure.
A lure.
What would lure an undead?
What sort of lure?
An unsuspecting child at at the opening of a school?
I mean,
You
you say
can't
they're under
ethically do that deliberately.
You reckon they're under
Accidentally.
control? They're being controlled by somebody?
Yep. We think so, yes.
Ask that person nicely. Or forcefully.
I like the way you think. Yeah. First nicely, then forcefully, then we kill them. And
if
deal
you
with the
can't, then I don't know, food. Really, if the guiding intelligence goes away, they'll probably just be oozes, with a particular taste. So lure, food would be the big one.
And
Or
for news, food is basically anything.
anything organic, pretty much, like a giant tree. That's
Would
the
they
problem.
even want-
They're already in
Yeah.
a massive food source.
Yeah.
It'd have to be something nice.
Yeah, they're not really that picky.
like a huge hash brown. So was that what I'm hearing?
I mean, I'm sold. If I was the news, yeah. I mean, they do have a little bit of preference. Like, in my experience, it's not necessarily what we would taste, what we would enjoy, but like things that are very flavorful, not necessarily tasty for us, but flavorful. So, you
Rotting bacon?
rotting cabbages is what I normally give them. A, because it's freaking cheap, and B, because bacon. Yeah, that would do. It's smelly, awful. That sort of thing.
Is there a sewage system in the Alderheart?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the bark. It's,
You don't wanna
Yes, let's
touch the
pump
bark.
raw sewage out to lure the slimes.
it's,
yeah, poo slimes.
Ugh.
I am having trouble trying to figure out what would be more appetizing to a slime than a borderline life deity that it's already living in, but I think that is a question for after we deal with the source of the issue.
It depends. Like, I mean, you saw what I'm doing. This is an anti-death field. Now I've supercharged it. If you had something similar, you could maybe use it as a sort of cleansing tool, like something to. If you had a portable one, you could maybe like push it out, use it to like waft the. I don't know if that's.
Well,
You
I
look-
mean, hey, I
you
can
look
make
like-
things.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you could design one for us, or at least like make some blueprints or something.
I
we
can
could
give
maybe...
you the blueprints of the one I made.
Yeah,
You're
that'd
gonna
be
have
cool.
to. You'd have to do it on site. So,
Hmm.
and you'll need
Yeah,
a lot
That's a
more
large.
life stuff, all the heart stuff, empowered with. Basically, it's about resonance frequencies, and it's about swapping it. So you need the source so you can invert it, so that it makes it an anti-field, and then push.
But, so if we're taking the Alderheart as a source and then swapping it, is that going to be like a death field? Is that going to be bad for the Alderheart?
Not long term.
Oh, okay.
As in-
Short term, yeah.
It would be unpleasant, but just don't do it for long.
Mhm.
You could potentially, actually, Bron, intelligence check. Why am I feeding you this? Use your flash of genius as well. Omi has
Look,
just
I might-
gifted a thing to Julio.
Oh, me. Thank you.
Thanks, Omi.
I've got
How are you,
16, but you know what?
mate?
I've had an inspiration for a couple of sessions.
Could do that.
So I'm going to reroll that?
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's 12. Well, 16
16.
was still the best.
16. Very well. Good to see you using it though. Right. And Omi, thanks for that D4 for Julio. Sorry, this is a makeup stream, Omi. We don't normally stream on the Sundays, but yes. Cool. So, 16. It occurs to you, you could possibly tune the Alderheart like a tuning fork. And, like, have, without making the wire, use the tree itself as the conductor. As she pulls out the blueprints, you could, your artificer brain, she is no artificer, she is a chemist. She would be if she was an artificer, she's an alchemist. Not a builder. She is she does the gooey bits. Your speciality is more in the hardwire, the metal, and the wood stuff. And so seeing what she's built, this is pretty rudimentary. Your brain goes into, right, how do I supercharge this shit? And you could potentially design something from this premise to make the Alderheart able to expel the everything from inside it.
Is this kind of like drinking salt water to throw up sort of deal?
A little bit. It's probably a bit more like supercharging. It's more like an antivirus. In analogy, it's more like supercharging the Alderheart's own immune system.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. It's not going to accidentally send like a pulse of death magic out.
Not death magic, no. It would not send a pulse of death magic out, no.
Just making sure before I hooked it all up and flipped the switch.
Oh no, we've created a necrotic tree. There's season 3.
It's a zombie tree.
Whoops.
Then you have
Kenna goes, I'm really glad I didn't do that.
Guy. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any other questions you'd like to ask Kenna? Because I'm aware of the time. Cool. She says, well, guys, it was really interesting chatting with you. Not every day I get to make a brand new kind of slime. Thank you for convincing me to kill it. You were right. You were right. And it's handy to have people around who go, oi. So yeah, lovely meeting you guys. Lovely to see you again, Kesh. Pop in for more tea sometime if you're in the neighborhood. Love to see you.
Yeah, hopefully we can meet on better circumstances.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Drop by when you don't have some world-ending thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll look you up next time, and I'm in the
Sounds
Alderheart.
nice.
Cool.
Please do.
So you return to the Wrangler's Rest, or so your two choices in the Winnowing Reach are the Wrangler's Rest or the Gone Goose Lagoon.
I like Wrangler's Rest. That came recommended to us.
Okay.
Also, on the road to the tavern, Julio will whisper to Bron and say, so in the span of like 2 days, you've met 3 other artificers. Wow, how's that going for you? What do you think?
Yeah, we're working on some cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to meet other people who make things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, did you were there any more artificers in Espinora?
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
Not many.
No. So
Do you
yeah.
Do you feel lonely about it while you were there?
I mean, not really. Kind of. I had my stuff. It was pretty good. Hadn't really thought of that, to be honest. Most of the time, look. I mean, when did Julio leave?
Oh,
like many years ago.
But like as teenagers or
Yep.
yeah, cool. Okay, great, cool. So you might not know, but yeah, growing up was not great. I do things differently to other people, so they didn't really appreciate that. So I guess I just did my stuff and didn't really think about, made sure to keep it away from other people so I don't have to keep saying, oh, sorry, I blew your thing up or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. Yeah, that's as far as I got with that, I think.
I see.
Yeah,
Because we
but
had a
it's
friend with us last time. He was a wizard, and he came from a prestigious wizard school. So I thought that most people of that like hoity-toity magic-y variety kind of all know each other and have little like secret communities, and
yeah. I also think that's the same with the hoity-toity, but yeah, no, we get our hands a bit dirtier than they do, I think. Yeah, a bit more of a risk with the way we do things. Yeah, but no, not a lot of other artificers in Espinora, and yeah, that was kind of okay. Just made sure I was out of everyone's way, and didn't hurt them.
I mean, you've met. It was not my intent to introduce 3 Artificer characters in one session. It just happens to be those are characters that came up.
yeah. Sure.
Only one of them is in the module we're playing, but it is kind of interesting. Yeah. One of them you went out of your way to talk to because Bron would probably like to.
If anything, there's a bit of class racism coming from Eric of, let's just introduce him to all the artificers.
Yeah.
And then they will get on.
Yeah. There's another one that you guys know as well. Pruitt. No, not Pruitt. What was his name? The one who made
a shot.
Yeah. There's one in the trunk markets.
He made the bow.
Yeah, he made Kesh's bow. Cool. Alrighty. You get to the Wrangler's Rest, a pleasant little tavern. You are bedded and dined and very reasonably priced, and later on that evening, Kesh and Julio were sitting at the bar enjoying a late night pint.
I will say Julio was probably drinking more than usually today. He doesn't really get drunk. He's more like he taste tests. Fuck me. Taste tests.
I'm good, thanks.
And shut up. And now he actually has like a few shots in front of him, and he waits until like Kesh and him are like in a quiet bit of the evening, like away from prying eyes, and Julio turns to Kesh a little bit and says, "So Kesh, well, you were a bandit.
Yes.
I was a pirate. I've noticed today that you've mentioned that you didn't feel like you had anything else you did as well, so that pushed you to banditry. I think now that we all know that that's not true, and you have so much more that you can do. But it did make me think about something. For me, the issue was that I was good and I did enjoy it. I felt like for the first time in my life, I was good in a way that was very useful. And I didn't think that who I was useful for mattered. It was very good to have people around you who really valued me as a pirate. And that sense of community was the thing that kept me there for years. The fact that your friend didn't agree to go that robbery with you, I think that was very lucky, because I had all the people around me urging me on to do more, to do better. And I was very good.
And that kept on for so many years until Petra found me.
I hadn't looked at it that way before.
It seems that here, even though you had kind of like a failure of the robbery, you had a success in finding people who, like Kenna, were, you saved her, but in a way, this whole situation kind of turned your life around, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it did. I suppose I fell into being a bandit, and then I kind of felt like I'd never get a chance to do anything else because I was a bandit. And it took a really weird set of circumstances for me to end up doing something else.
Yeah. I keep wondering sometimes how many people on our way, how many people in bad circumstances are there because they think that they can't get out. And I'm thinking about this necromancer guy and this Leandri. And, if we can't persuade him to stop, then sure, we'll be probably able to do it physically. But I wonder how many people, bandits and pirates like us, think that this is what I signed up for, so might as well do this. Otherwise, what am I good for?
Mm.
The reason I really gravitated to Alderheart, I guess, is because for the first time in my life, that sense of community, that sense of belonging, didn't come with prerequisites at being very good at something. It was just accepting me immediately. And I didn't have to prove that I was good at killing, good at cooking, good at anything else.
Yeah, she's just going to give Julio a really big hug.
Yeah. And I think right now we're doing a lot of good things, but these things that we did and these things that we do, they're not us. And your past, just like your present, don't define you fully.
Thank you, Julio.
Thank you.
Lovely. And I think we'll leave it there.
A little tear in my eye. That was so
Yeah.
sweet.
Gorgeous.
Aww.
Well, guys, before we get into our favourite moments, we're going to completely kill the vibe and talk a little bit more about Gaza. Because I have a microphone and a webcam, and I get to talk to a bunch of people who occasionally listen to me. And my goal is not to necessarily convince you to think about this in any particular way, just to think about it. There is currently, as you may know, an ongoing strike that a lot of streamers have gotten involved in. We almost inadvertently struck this week because we didn't stream on the 2 nights we were intending to. But yes, we are going to. My decision on it was I'm not going to make enough of an impact by not streaming. When I could, in fact, use the time to actually talk about it properly. So I'm going to, by sharing just a little bit of information about the thing. This one is a little bit of a history lesson. I apologize. I have done my due diligence. This is as best as I can find the accurate information that is out there. Have a look. Hamas was elected by popular vote on the 26th of January 2006 in the first Palestinian legislative election after the death of Yasser Arafat. Hamas won 74 of the 132 seats, with a further 4 going to pro-Hamas independence. Hamas being the elected leaders of Palestine. At the time, Hamas ran on a platform of getting rid of the corruption and lawlessness which was rampant in the territory, and it absolutely was. EU observers of the election called it competitive and genuinely democratic. In fact, they actually made a note that they had seen worse democratic elections within the EU. So it was genuinely a good election. This was 18 years and 2 days ago. It was Aussie Day on Friday, and that was the 18th anniversary of that thing. Given that over 75% of the population of Gaza is under 25, it would be fair to say that whilst Hamas was originally elected by the people of Gaza, they do not currently represent them. They can't, because there has not been an election since then. Hamas has not stood for re-election. They have not had a general election since then. So 75% of those people could not have voted in that election. In fact, over 50% of them were not alive when that happened. So it would be very fair to say that whilst Hamas was elected, it cannot currently be said to fairly represent the people of Palestine or Gaza. It's not to say that some of them don't. It is just to say that legitimately they can't possibly. The public
they don't
goals
have a
of the
mandate
party,
from the masses.
This is it. They do not. They were when they were elected a very moderate party. That there was definitely still an element of resisting through sort of it was militant resistance, but not. They were not endorsing terrorist acts, which they have now obviously started doing, and have been doing for years. So, yeah, there is some interesting information about Hamas. To say that Palestinians support Hamas is as incorrect as saying Israelis support their government uniformly. They absolutely do not. There have also been protests in Israel by Israelis against what is happening in Gaza as well. And it is very worth pointing that out too. So, there you have it. Some interesting factoids about the Gaza Strip and the people of it, and the situation that is occurring there. All I can ask, and all that I would expect of my wonderful audience, is to, if you feel strongly about it, go and make sure you are correct in the way you feel about it. Go and check your sources. Go and do a little bit of looking. Because my opinions on this matter changed as I did. I learned more and I felt more strongly than I did before. You are not going to fix it. None of us have the power to fix it, but we can help the people on the ground, because children should not be dying. It's weird that I have to say that. Yeah. So that is my point. And if you want to assist in any way with that situation, then you can support the SaveTheChildren.org emergency Gaza appeal. Check that link out there. If you have any spare pennies in your digital wallet, please consider chucking them that direction. And if you don't have any spare pennies, that is absolutely fine as well. Times are hard. Groceries are expensive. So is fuel. There is no judgment from us on that. However, if you do have the time, please consider signing the Oxfam.org petition, which is directed at the Australian government to basically ask them to put a little bit of whatever pressure Australia can bring to the situation to resolve it in a way that aid workers can get back on the ground and actually help. Because Oxfam currently just can't. They can't get their people there, and they don't want their people to die. 134 aid workers have been killed in this conflict so far. Over 25,000 Palestinians have died. Over 1,400 Israelis have died in this conflict so far, just since the 7th of October. That is awful. More bombs have been dropped on Palestine, on the Gaza Strip, than were dropped in the Afghan war. That's nutty. It's over 6,000. It's a ridiculous amount on the 40th most densely populated area on Earth. Totally cool and groovy. So, guys, we will lighten up a little bit now, and we will talk about our favorite moments. Thank you very much for listening to my heartfelt appeals. So let's talk about our favorite moments, guys. What did we all do well today? I think it was a lovely session, really RP heavy, and I had a great time. Can I get a D5 in chat, please, from somebody to determine who we're going to talk about first? Well, I put on a little bit of cool jazz.
Nothing lightens the mood like cool jazz.
Lady vocals. Here we go. So what do we feel, everybody? A 5. We got a 5. That's Brendan. Favorite Eric moments. I actually am going to go first because Brendan had some corkers in chat.
Brendan came in with energy today.
Yeah, that was some very fun. And then we got after that, Omi rolled a 3 on a D4, which means we'll be talking about John after that. Thank you very much. Yeah, Brendan, there was one feeling lonely, poor mental health. Have you considered joining your local community or bandits? And I didn't feel existential loneliness until you brought it up. Both were very good. I had several chuckles in Brendan's chat. So actually, I think my favorite chat and my favorite moments from Brendan today were actually chat related. It was very funny. I enjoyed having you there. Thank you for keeping your eye on chat, keeping things motivated, but also just that was funny for me. I enjoyed.
There was another very wild moment right at the beginning. Hey Bob, how's the wife? How are the kids? Still
dead? Yeah.
Oh, that was mine too.
Raw as shit.
Yeah, I just love the I don't know how to, like, you engage with the bounce back ability of D&D. Like, you can just be like, oh yeah, cool, I'm just going to change this. And like, you can. And it's great fun to watch you do that. It's great fun to watch you improvise your way through something when you're just like, let's go. Cool. Yeah.
I really do hope that isn't considered to be a canon thing that Eric said and did.
Bob is absolutely a fellow tender, whether or not he has children.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say that the conversation stopped around about where you were just before you said that.
Yeah.
You're like, I imagine that Eric turned and carried on walking. He's like, how are the children? Still dead? Well, never mind.
There was definitely more Brendan's awkwardness than Eric's. Yeah.
It's hard to distinguish between Eric's awkwardness and Brendan's awkwardness sometimes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed, like, that you wanted to take Bron to the tent hall.
Yeah.
Just like, I know this really cool chick. You two should meet and just, like, nerd out together. You'll have fun.
Yeah.
And just backing slowly towards the door.
Yeah.
I like that detail. It was like, I'm just gonna, when it appears I've lost both of them, I might just leave.
And Eric would not have at that instance, but in future may well drop Bron off to be distracted.
Artificer daycare. You just put two of them together and see what happens.
I mean, just as much for her as it is for him.
Oh,
in
yeah.
fact, probably more so for her.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Poor woman's already juggling so much. Let's just get her to play babysitter to our local artificers as well.
Yeah.
See if we can build some kind of like artificial robot for administration purposes. Just like stamp things and write orders. Excellent.
Say that in her presence, I dare you. Right.
Yeah.
Brendan, favorite self?
Yeah, for me, it was probably less something that I said and more something that I didn't say.
Mm-hmm.
During the conversation with the magistrate of recognizing him as a Corvum, probably a Corvum that I knew, or at least was from a family that I knew, being of the standing that I'm of.
Yeah.
I specifically said nothing in that interaction. Eric specifically said nothing in that interaction. I just imagine him kind of standing at the back of the room in the door in full shadow mult, but otherwise not saying anything because it felt important that that was a conversation for Kesh to lead. Yeah. So that's what I wrote as my favorite self moment.
For detail there, he is an important man, his family not so much, but he definitely knows who the fuck you are. Yeah. Full Shadow Malt is a good way of putting it. He's like, hello, Mr. Shadow Malt. Yep. Like, he knows his own importance, but his family not so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Splendid. Alrighty, well, let's talk about John then. Favorite Bron moments?
I immediately have one where Julio in his like normal like, how do you feel? Like how is this? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm great. This is fun. Back home also fun. I love his happy-go-lucky attitude. He's really like nothing puts Bron down, and I admire that. It's a really good quality.
Yeah.
I'm really happy you asked about that because I didn't say to anyone, but like I named my characters very thoughtfully. So Bron means, according to Google Translate, Bron means sorry in Irish.
Oh.
Because
Oh,
that was I'd always just imagined that's how he grew up, just bumping into people and blowing things up.
Yeah.
And I'm
little
just so
sweetheart. I'm just out of the way. I do my little
Yeah.
thing. He's
So-
Aww.
I'm so
Cute.
glad you could ask me that because I was like, that's never going to come up. So like, yay.
yeah.
Treasure
Good
has
moment.
said mine. Treasure says, can we keep it as a pet? Yeah. Putting out, because you knew what you were doing, that you were setting up for the conversation of no, we can't. And Dario's response of no, we're always moving around. We're never. Yeah, it was such good, and it felt very much like you were setting it up for that conversation, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Bron's willingness to like, oh no, we'd love, yeah, I'd love that. And you could see behind your eyes going like, I could definitely think of ways to utilize that.
It's
Yeah,
like that quote from Ghostbusters. I can
Yeah.
think of 10 uses for a corpse today.
Yeah, definitely. That was my favorite Bron bit.
I
Bishop Blood also.
liked,
Nope, carry on.
I liked, and this is partly a DM thing as well, but I liked how Bron has very quickly started to cement himself as having a valid reason for being a part of this group and for a very valid purpose for being a part of this assignment. So I like that, but on a more personal level, I liked how with both of the conversations with the ooze people that it felt like Bron and Eric were kind of double teaming both conversations of, you know, Bron with the more mechanical and more material side and Eric more with the elemental side. I really enjoyed that teamwork of the two of them kind of leading those conversations together.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely extracted a lot between us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
not planning on making a death elemental slime today. Yeah, Bishop Blood says Eric took charge of the talking today, which is usually a cash thing, which was really cool, and really enjoyed Bron's interaction with Gabby by the looks of it. Yeah. Karen?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was because I had it and then I started thinking about one of the other things and now. Let me quickly look over my notes.
Yeah.
Update.
John, favorite self?
Actually, yeah, just getting to talk about back home and like I didn't talk about what Bron's name meant, but I kind of talked about the reason why John, named him Bron, and I liked that. In a session that was like, cool, let's just extract information. Yeah, it was great to just have a moment of like, oh.
That's it. Karen?
A little moment, but I think it was Bron who suggested what could we lure the oozes out with, and you're like, hash brown? It's like just for me, the immediate subtext of my own mind was because I can definitely make a giant, hash brown frying machine. Just give me an excuse.
Just gonna strap the shotgun to that thing.
This season is definitely going to end with a deep fried ooze.
Yup. In our walking deep fryer. Yes, sir.
Ooze browns. Yeah. Cool. We're going to need a D3 in chat, please. Yes. That was an interesting moment, and I was like, giant hash. How big a hash brown would it take to pour the ooze out? Did it work? Oh, 1 Bishop Blood. You got me. All right, favorite DM moments, everyone.
Good. I really liked the different approach each artificer represented. because again, we had a lot of like technology and sciencey people today, and they didn't blend in between each other whatsoever. They had a very different approach, their own like motivation, how they talked. It was all very well done. I didn't for a second feel lost in what kind of character we're talking about, which is good.
I particularly enjoyed Gert. They were great. Just the little details about their behavior and like the way you described their kind of change when they started thinking about like their friend and what they might have been up to. It was a really cool character that I would like to meet again.
Gert was also mine point, but a specific point when Gert described, was it Sage, as a Gallus that looks like a storm cloud? I was like, that's cool, man. Like, I really enjoyed that. That character is that verbose, and I know that if that character wasn't, they wouldn't have, like, that's not Josh putting that in there. That's the character, and I was like, yeah, that's a level of detail, a couple of layers deep, that I was just like, wow, that's, yes, great.
Thank you. Yeah, Bishop Blood says playing the magistrate. Yeah, I didn't. I was like, do I, don't I? I could go both ways. I could have him be a dick about it. But the way Kesh came in informed that. The Kesh did not come in swinging it around. She was very like humble and cautious about it. And that was why I was like, yeah, no, we don't need to have this be a problem. Let's have him be an okay guy, actually. And Kenna being really happy to see Kesh was also a sweet moment. Yeah,
it was very cute.
That was fun. Yeah.
My favorite DM moment, as I alluded to before, was I don't know if you intended it or not, but not only giving Bron a very practical way of being involved in the solution of this thing via the Alderheart circuit, but just as was mentioned, the difference in all of the artificers being as prompts for Bron and for John to think about what Bron's purpose, the utility could have been apart from that as well. So that was very cool.
Yeah.
And because, we mentioned, all three artificers that we spoke to were very different, but Bron being the fourth is also very different to all of them.
Yeah.
As well. So I think that's an interesting contrast of, when I think of Artificer, I get a very specific idea in my head. And that was pretty well washed in this episode.
Yeah. I mean, you have... I would say Gabby is a battlesmith. I would label... Whereas Kenna is definitely an alchemist. And so probably is Gert. But with, different modus operandi. Yeah.
It was also cool that we got such different experiences between Kenna and Gert, like, because we were showing them the same things and telling them the same stuff and just getting a different
I think that's my
aspect.
favorite me moment, because Gert is from the module we're playing, whereas Kenna is from the original book, but I have done a lot with her. She has been expanded upon recently, significantly. She's really she's a slime researcher. It comes up, she is basically a damsel in distress to save. And she's not mentioned in the module at all. But I'm like, but we've had her come up in the world twice as a noted amateur, but expert in slimes. It is entirely reasonable that you would be told about her, particularly if you went to her uncle, who has changed his opinion about her since the whole thing with the bogs drying up. It made total sense. So it was cool. You basically got to meet not just three different artificers, but three who have been in it for different amounts of time and had different amounts of detail applied to them. Establishing who Gabby is was not necessary. You already knew Gabby. I'd already done a bit of work on Kenna, and then Gert is new, and I did do a bit of work on Gert. The book does specify a few things, but yeah, I kind of like, and it was bad of me because I'm non-binary myself, and I should be better at doing a they them. And I kept calling him he, and I don't actually know. I have not decided in terms of physical gender what they would be, but I don't actually necessarily know they are male physically. But yeah, I think it was my favorite creation today. Although, because that's been said a lot, I will also mention the little death ooze. And yeah, getting out the little, I imagine as a tiny copper boxing ring. Like that thing. The interconnectedness makes the world feel alive. Yeah. And that's the thing, that knowing what else is going on in this place. Yes. Cool. Any other favorites, or shall we move on? Splendid. Let us move on then. We are talking roll 2. Well, I got a 2, and then Omi got a 1. So we will talk about Karen first, and then Daria. Favorite Cash moments, everybody.
Such a good Cash backstory episode. Going back to the place where it all began, honestly, for Cash was very, very cool. And seeing just how like, for all of the triumphs, for all of the like cutting ribbons and all the glad handing, how humble and down to earth Cash is. It is very, very enjoyable. Like, that's one of the things I never really thought about until today, how I like this campaign, because the characters are actually very likable and heroic in their own way. Because with D&D, it's, it depends on the character, depends on the setting, but quite often it's like the anti-hero, like, oh, I'm so edgy and cool and blah, blah. And these are people who are like actually trying to like change their ways, all of us in different ways, like trying to get better. And I think Cash is a very good role model in a way, because she never gets like, her power, her influence never gets to her head, and that's very admirable.
It's probably because she keeps getting fired.
Damn, okay.
They could take it all away in an instant.
Treasure,
She's got no job security.
Treasure says, once again, Treasure and I are of the same mind about this. Treasure says, still juggling stuff Karen wasn't there for, making it feel true. Yeah, because I'm not 100% sure that Karen ever watched those episodes. And even if she did, it was 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that you didn't know this, are you able to just take what I told you and it was like, oh shit, that happened? Right, okay. Yes, I remember all of these events. And playing it the way you did, and with the minimal amount of detail I was able to give you, without wanting to feel exposition dumpy, was really, really good. Playing that and letting it affect you without letting it change you. Was really cool. Yeah.
One of my favorite Kesh moments was kind of right at the beginning, where Kesh was like, so this is what happened and this is why, but like, you could tell that Kesh didn't want to go see the magistrate, but was still willing. If the rest of the party was going to be like, yes, this will be fine, Kesh was like, okay then, I guess it's going to go. You know what I mean? I didn't put their foot down and was like, this is the only way it can possibly go forward. Kesh was willing to just be like, okay, cool, this is what everybody else decides is good, so therefore I'm just going to do what everyone else decides is good. I'm like, that's cool. There's like what Daria was saying, I've played with people before who would just been like, it's absolutely not, and that'd be the end of it. They won't hear anything else. And so yeah, it was really nice to see you. It was obvious that you didn't want to, but you were convinced to do it still. And I was like, that's cool. That's cool playing. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did enjoy my caveats, like, if I get arrested, you have to break me out of jail.
Yep.
That was probably the most Cash thing you could have said in that instance, yeah. I think it might have been if you guys can't, after all the adventures we've been on, if you guys can't manage a simple prison break, what even the hell is we doing here?
Very fair, very fair.
My favorite Cash moment is a bit of a cop-out, because it's a combined moment between Cash and Julio, but it was the conversation about their pasts and what it means for the people that we meet along the way and the people that we come up across against along our way as well. It's kind of a shame that Eric wasn't a part of that conversation, because Eric is absolutely still going to be murdering a bunch of bandits and stuff that come across. But it was a really interesting conversation and moved past what I was expecting it to be, which was, yes, this is our backstory lore dump, but which was really cool too, but then was brought more practically of, okay, we've moved past this, but there's a lot of people who are probably in the same position. So it gave Brendan a lot to think about. Eric, not so much.
Because he doesn't know it happened.
Yeah.
Bishop Blood had actual tears, apparently. Lovely.
Aww.
Any
Got
others?
'em.
Or shall we jump straight over to Daria? Because I think that leads us very neatly into favorite Daria moments. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really do a self moment.
Oh, go on then.
And it probably would have been the conversation with Julio, but apart from that, I did enjoy just being so sheepish when coming into the magistrate's office.
Yeah.
Kind of like going to the headmaster's office when you're like, hey, I know I'm in trouble, but also I need your help. But he was quite gracious about it, which was nice. It's like, well, you've done well for yourself since then.
Yeah. He's got a bit of sort of gruff uncle pride about him. It was like, it looks like I made the right call sending you off to rescue my niece and then having you arrested again and sent back to Alderheart. It all played out well in the end. Well, never mind.
It's like, we'll let bygones be bygones, and you stick to the straight and narrow.
Otherwise, I don't know what I'll do. You're very powerful.
Yeah,
person.
I probably couldn't even arrest you. It was really funny because it had not occurred to Kesh that he would be like, well, I can't arrest her. She's
his
too high
local
ranked
police
now.
force is like 5 guys. You could probably take them on your own.
That would have been funny. Actually.
All right, well, let's talk about Daria then. Favorite Daria moments, and I'm going to jump straight in there. And I'm probably gonna mention that final scene, because but I'm actually going to talk about a very specific part of it. I like the detail that Julio has been drinking more than he normally does, because that is an important and a very interesting detail, that he was still, like, you still played him as sober or not drunk, but that this is heavy for him. He's had a big day to think about it, but it felt earned. And that was really, that was interesting. That was very cool.
Yeah, the reason that I mentioned drinking is because this actually came up last season as well, with the life flower, who has a lot of shame. He has a lot of shame about his previous life, which he doesn't really talk about that much. But he is trying to kind of come to grips with that at this point in his life, and it's difficult. It's really difficult because his change is so drastic that he can't possibly look back in his life and be like, yeah, that was okay, So alcohol is definitely.
So my favorite moment was also that part of that last conversation, but also just the fact that in the space of maybe about 10 minutes, you, Daria, started 2 deep conversations in a row, just bang, bang. We were already having conversation stuff, but they were about the tree, they were about mechanics, what do we do? And then just suddenly firing off boom, 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 do you like this? Why? Are you okay with people liking you? Why? And then getting into cool, so hey, we've done some real heavy stuff. And for me, actually, that last conversation really helped, because Julio felt, up to this point, the whole campaign has felt kind of yay, happy clappy, everyone's kind of having a good time. But to hear that, I suddenly go, oh, there's a reason why Julio asks first. It suddenly recolored all the interactions I had ever seen Julio have with any of the bad guys. I suddenly went, oh, wow. So that was a really cool moment for me to just go, oh, there were much deeper reasons behind this than John, thought. So that was really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Daria is a wonderful mix of the most hilariously inappropriate humor and really deep, heartfelt conversations, and that contrast is fucking priceless.
What
Are
I
you all
like about
famous?
Daria's style is Daria bullies people and then in character asks them why they're feeling sad.
Yep.
Bishop
It's a
Blood
circle
says,
of bullying, you know.
yeah. Bishop Blood says, "You're famous? Oh, I'm kind of a religious leader. Getting sad about the toupee being tried too hard.
Oh my god,
yeah.
yes.
That's fair. Yeah.
Low blow. Low blow.
It would have just been
yeah.
try too hard on Kesh.
Yeah.
It's fine on Julio. It works. It's perfect.
I already mentioned my favorite Julio moment as part of Kesh, but I guess it was really on Daria for using that backstory motivation to then become about the present and the people that they're dealing with. Which, to be fair, is something that Julio has brought up a number of times. But this is one of the more pointed ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Splendid. Daria, favorite self?
There's a yes. I was worried about having two of those conversations back to back. I didn't want to make it too serious and too and now I want to talk about serious stuff. I didn't want to
Yeah.
force it, but I think that it turned out pretty nice, and we didn't really exhaust the topic. So more waterworks. It didn't get to that point, which I'm very happy about. And Julio being he's not always an anxious being, but he is always trying to be looking out for other people, and I enjoy that about him. It's very, very nice to play.
Splendid. Well, we should go away from here, guys, because we've been streaming for a gosh darn while. We will go and raid somebody we haven't gotten to raid in ages. We're going to raid the Doom Donkey, who is playing
it has been a while.
Yeah. Who is playing some Warhammer 40k by the looks of it.
I've never heard of the Doom Donkey, so yes, it has
Doom
been
Donkey
a while.
and I, Doom Donkey ran a short campaign with me, Rach, and Jack over on Roll for Damage a while ago. In which we all played Viking-themed characters, because Doom is a massive Viking. When you see him, you will understand. He's a lovely chap, an excellent DM, and he's playing some games right now. So we'll go and drop a raid over on him. But before we do that, we need to talk about these wonderful beings. Brendan, who the heck are you?
I'm Brendan. I'm an actor and director, and I expect to be back on the channel on Thursday playing this game again.
Hope so. Otherwise, something's gone wrong.
Damn
Karen,
you,
who the heck are
internet.
you? Well, yeah.
Hi. Did you say me?
I did.
Yes, you did say me. Hi, I'm Karen. I'm a performer and a writer, a puppeteer, a complete internet addict. You can follow me on the social media site formerly known as Twitter as Mother Bunnies. You can follow my Bella Sculpted Ego over on Instagram at Miss Lamore. Listen to me in the D&D podcast, There Be Dragons, or you can just come back here. I probably will be here. I just realized I might be here 3 times this week because Monday we've got everything with Tony. Tuesday's
Tony.
normally Baldur's Gate night, and then
Yep.
Thursday's Humblewood. So big
Hell yeah.
week for me. Gonna be fun. Gonna be great.
Yeah, absolutely. John, who the heck are you?
I'm John. I'm enjoying very much playing D&D here with my friends. I'm a performer, have been a performer for a long time, moved into IT so I could afford to eat. But yeah, I like
that's
fire.
a good idea. Fuck, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, well, that's about it. Have fun.
Love it. Daria, who the heck are you?
I'm Daria. I will be here on Thursday playing more Humblewood. Outside of that, I am an artist. I made emotes and portraits for the channel, and now I have a way to be paid from overseas. So if anyone needs a little bit of art, hit me up. Wink, wink.
Hey!
Yeah, well, we're looking for some new Eric art, but that has already been discussed because he's no longer patchy. And I be Josh the Pirate. You can find me here on my channel, Corsair's Cove. But you know that because you've done it already. Good job. Keep doing it. We play D&D here. Tomorrow night we will be having some non-D&D TTRPG wonderfulness. Tony Karlstrom will be coming to play some Mutant Chronicles with us, which is a different system set in a sci-fi fantasy future of this world, what we live in. Yeah, it's a bit of a murder mystery, I think. It's a sort of and we're playing with Zach, the Renegade Chicken, Jess, the Queen Bench herself, Ardana, the wonderful Lawwright, Karen, and I will be here as well. So that'll be tomorrow evening at about an hour ago, but tomorrow. And then Tuesday, maybe some more Baldur's Gate 3 a little bit. And then Thursday, back for more Humblewood. So it's going to be a heck of a week for us. Good fun. We are proudly supported by Wootton Forge Gaming Accessories, creators of WA and possibly even the world's finest handcrafted wooden tabletop accessories. You could purchase some of their marvelous products at wootonforge.com/Corsair's Cove. They are actually currently at CanCon in Canberra right now, and they've got some real pretty shit. So they made an adventurer's chest, which is one of these boys, out of purple heartwood, and it's actually purple wood. So fucking pretty. And rather than laser engrave this thing, they instead got it's brass and it's inset. And it's so hecking pretty. I was like, I want it. They only have one. I don't want to know how expensive it is, but it's very, very pretty. And they've also got some gemstone dice over there as well, which is a limited edition thing. So check it out at woodenforge.com/Corsair's Cove. And any purchases you make, we got a cheeky little kickback, you bloody champions. I don't shill, but I do have bills. Speaking of shilling, we also are affiliated with Troll Lord Games. They are a TTRPG company based over in the US. They have their own system, Castles and Crusades. Their web store is fantastic and very reasonably priced. Check it out at trolllord.com. Guys, we're going to go away from here now. I'm going to put the Gaza link up one more time before we go. If you have any spare pennies, please consider chucking it over there. Thank you for watching our wonderful faces this evening. Thank you for playing along with us at home. Go out into the world and do a little bit of kindness, would you? And we're going to drop a raid over on the Doom Donkey. So throw your favourite raid emotes up in chat. Tell Doom where you came from. Show them the love like we always do. And we will see you, same bat time, same bat channel, tomorrow evening for some more Mutant Chronicles. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Whee!